Hello, hello, everybody. Let me know that you can hear me. And I want to talk about a couple things with you guys. So the first thing I want you to know is over in the chat, I want you to know that that is where you're going to go if you have any technical issues, okay? So you'll post a message in the chat if you have any tech issues, all right? And if you have any questions, then you're going to post that in the question and answer section, okay? So as we go through, you're going to post your questions in the question and answer section. And at the end, I'm going to do a live question and answer based off what we talked about and any questions that you may have, okay? So just remember, the chat is any tech issues. You can't hear me. You can't see the screen, whatever the case may be. And then the question and answer section is more for any questions that you have along the way so that you can have those answered at the end of the webinar. All right. So I'm super excited to have you guys on here. I'm going to take my picture off in a few minutes and we're going to get started. We're probably going to wait around 5 minutes or so to let people continue to hop on, and then we will get started and get through the evening, okay? So while we're waiting, why don't you post in the question and answer section who you are, where you're from, what state you live in. Let me know where you're coming from. Let's get to know each other a little bit, and then we'll get started in just, I would say, not even 5 minutes. So remember, post all your questions in the question and answer section, and then make sure that you post your chat. That's going to be if you have any tech issues, okay? So all your questions go in the question and answer, okay? All right. So we have Amanda and Sherry. We have Christina. And another Amanda and Jamie. Hello, hello. We have Pamela and Julie, Yvette, Jackie, Emily from Pittsburgh. We got Seattle, Kentucky, Indiana, Missouri, Oregon. Wow. Then we have Antoinette in Albuquerque, New Mexico. We have Christina from North Carolina. And Jamie and Susan. Wow. We have a Bernadette from Arizona. Arizona is really nice. I love it. And what do we got? Kentucky. Jennifer, hello. We have Anna. We have Tammy. Is it Tasia? That's really pretty. From Virginia. Okay, I'm from Virginia too. Shannon from Wisconsin. And Gina, Tabitha. Gosh. I'm going to be going through a lot of names. We have Stephen and Mindy, and I have some people that says their phone. So I have one that says Samsung and one that says Galaxy. Welcome. I have Cindy and Chrissy, Ashley from Chicago. Hey. Wow. Sabrina. Hi, Sabrina. She's from Colorado. We have Christina Pooler and Karen, San Francisco. Oh my goodness, girl, that is the best place ever. We have Leah. Hello, hello. I'm sorry if I can't get through all your names. I do apologize in advance. Hey, Erin from good old Texas. We have April from Virginia. All right. So we're going to get started here in just a few minutes, okay? All right. We have Cheenan that says she can't post, so Rosie will get with you. She'll help you. All right, let me back up off of this, and we're going to get started here in just a second. Yeah, don't post in the chat. Chat is if you have any issues, post in the question and answer section, okay? So any questions that you have throughout this whole presentation, make sure you put them in the question and answer. You know how you think of things as you go, and hopefully you guys all have your notebooks, right? And so write in your notebooks the top 3 common mistakes, and then make sure that you write down any questions that you have, and then, you know, put them here in the question and answer. So stick around to the end. We're going to do a live question and answer. I'm going to give away a free gift, and I have a pretty big announcement to make. So stick around to the end, even if you put Zoom on your phone and go portable, whatever it is you have to do. And we'll stick together tonight and have a good evening. All right. So I'm going to kind of get off this question and answer, and I'm going to give it maybe 1 more minute, and then we're just going to get started. Okay. People can just hop on when they want, and we'll go from there. So definitely post where you're from, and definitely say hello. If I don't know who you are, I want to get to know you. So just post where you're from and anything you'd like to add about yourself. And then as I get started, again, just add any question that you may have in reference to anything that I'm talking about, or if it's outside what I'm talking about and in regards to an IEP and the process, then just post those questions in the question and answer, and I will stick around until the end. Okay, I will get to as many questions as I possibly can, and we will address them as they come. Okay. All right. So I will see you guys after the presentation, and I hope you enjoy it. All right. All right. So welcome everybody. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Raven Woods, and I'm the CEO and founder of Autism Mama Rocks the IEP. I help parents gain the knowledge and confidence to become the CEO of their IEP meeting. And that's the main thing that I do. I love what I do, and becoming the CEO of your IEP meeting is the goal here. So I'm honored to have you all here with me tonight to learn to stop making the 3 common and costly mistakes before and in your IEP meeting. I bet they may surprise you. This is the first time I'm actually sharing this topic, and I'm excited to share it all with you guys. My team is on here, so if you need anything, post in the chat if you're having technical issues, and post in the question and answer any questions that you have along the way. Before we get started, let's go over a few more things so we are all prepared for a powerful and educational evening. All right, I'm excited to spend the next, and those of you who know me, 60-ish minutes sharing with you something I'm fully versed, trained, and experienced in. What I'm sharing with you tonight is vital for helping your child to the best of your abilities. I want to make sure you can really take this in and get the most out of our time together, so you can avoid these pitfalls in your own journey. So silence your phones, close down your other browsers, and get your notebook out that you should have gotten your email today. We're also posting it in the question and answer section, so if you'd like to click it now and print it out really quick, you're more than welcome to. So since this training is going to last, again, 60-ish minutes, which is a stretch, but I promise if you stick with me to the end, you will feel so much more confident in the road ahead of you. Plus, if you stick around to the end, you will hear the huge announcement that will change your IEP career forever. I can promise you that. And I have an amazing gift for you. And guess what? You will actually see me again in the end for a live question and answer. So you won't regret it. So make sure you post your questions in the question and answer section, and make sure that you remember them and ask them at the end of this webinar. So get your notebook and pen ready to take notes so you can stop making the 3 common and costly mistakes in IEP meeting. Now that we've gotten that technical stuff out of the way and you're focused and ready to learn, I want to introduce myself. So as I said, my name is Raven Woods, and I help parents gain the knowledge and confidence to become the CEO of their child's IEP meeting. With 19 years experience in working with children and 12 years as an IEP advocate and disability expert, I believe that together we can rock it. I'm a mother of 3, and one is my beautiful 14-year-old daughter with autism, who has been and always will be my inspiration and the source of my passion to help people like you who struggle to get their child the best IEP possible, and one that is based on what is needed and appropriate for them. I was where you are, feeling overwhelmed, scared, like a failure, and my anxiety was through the roof. I did not know what to do, how to do it, and I felt over and over again that I failed my daughter and couldn't get her not only what was needed and appropriate for her, but what she deserved and had a right to receive. So this is my husband, Skylar, and I at the beach. My other 2 weren't there at the moment. So I just want you to know that I've been there and I get it. I've made mistakes, a lot of them, through many years, and I want to help you so that you don't make those same mistakes that I did and take 6.5 years to figure out the whole process. So imagine walking into your child's next IEP meeting feeling knowledgeable and confident to become the CEO of your child's IEP and get exactly what your child needs to succeed. It seems like a dream, doesn't it? I thought I knew my stuff. From getting my PhD in Google research on my child's disabilities, special education, IEPs, and the law. There's no such thing as a Google PhD, by the way, but you know what I'm saying. I Googled everything I possibly could. However, this hard work and Google research did not teach me how to go into my child's IEP meeting and become the CEO, or how to properly, my trademark, PPPN. Plan, prepare, present, persuade, and negotiate if you have to. The system I created. I can promise you I've got your back. Not only have I been there, but I've learned through training and most of all, trial and error, how to master the process. Finally, at the age of 14, my daughter's IEP rocks. She is getting everything that is needed and appropriate for her at this time and is set up for success. Now, let me be honest here. There is always something to deal with, rock an IEP or not. So I'm still there in the trenches with all of you. There's always going to be disagreement and things that come up, issues needed dealt with, and more. I want to help you master the process sooner rather than later so that your child too can get what is needed and appropriate for them to have educational success. How did I finally do this, you ask? Well, after years of failure, followed by years of trial and error, I figured it out. Then I made a plan and took action. Now I guide and teach the unique system I created so that you too can march into your child's next IEP meeting as the CEO with the knowledge and confidence to PPPN, plan, prepare, present, persuade, and negotiate. Bottom line, getting it done. Being a parent is challenging enough, isn't it? Without adding the extra challenge of having a child with special needs. It adds a whole new level to parenting and life as a whole. I knew there were challenges ahead, making sure my daughter got all the love and care she needed to grow up happy and strong. What I did not know, however, was that it would be so difficult to make sure my daughter was getting the proper education she needed, based off her impact of disability. I say that for a reason. We will get there later. That is where I found myself 12 years ago when my daughter was diagnosed with autism. The journey began. I was tired of feeling lost when it came to helping my daughter. It was then I decided I needed to figure out what to do and how this process really worked. I had to take action. I left most IEP meetings feeling defeated. I hadn't presented a case at all. In fact, I probably confused them more than anything with my luggage full of research. It goes to show, though, you can have all the knowledge, but if you don't know how to plan, prepare, present, persuade, and negotiate, you'll fail. So if you follow me through this training, you'll know how to stop making the 3 common and costly mistakes before and in your next IEP meeting. Remember, at the end of this training, I have a special gift for you, but honestly, better than that is a huge announcement I'm going to make that will change your IEP career forever. So stick around. This webinar is for anyone that has a child with a disability that is struggling to get their child what is needed and appropriate for them to succeed in the educational setting. And if you're tired of feeling stuck, lost, overwhelmed, and at your wit's end and figuring out how to do that, this webinar is for you. Now, if you're not willing to dive in, advocate, and learn, understand the process and how it works, which is a foreign language, by the way, this is not going to be the training for you. I take children's education seriously, and if you're not willing to dive in, put in the time and the work, then this training is going to be a waste of time for you. I know how challenging a special needs child's individual education plan, IEP, is to create in the right way so our children get what they need and deserve. If you have 100 excuses as to why you can't do what it takes to get your child what is needed and deserved, I promise I'm not going to be your cup of tea. Okay, now let's move on. I want to say I know you are here because you want to learn more and will do whatever it takes for your child to have educational success. I'm going to go through the 3 common and costly mistakes parents make before and in the IEP meeting and how to avoid them. This training will help you understand exactly what mistakes to avoid when it comes to the individual education plan, IEP, and why it's important to be aware of them. We will cover briefly the IEP, what it is, the purpose, and the steps after that, preparing research, your rights, and more, okay? Now let's get to work on getting you on the right track to making a breakthrough for your child. You ready? All right, to begin, let's go over what an IEP is and the purpose. The only place to start is at the beginning. Those of you who know me know this is huge. I always say start at the baseline and knowing what you are doing through this process. So just going back to the basics for a second. The Individual Education Plan program, often called the IEP, is a legal document under United States law that is developed for each public school child in the United States who needs special education. The IEP is created through a specific team, including yourself, and district personnel who are knowledgeable about the child. So really just think of it as a blueprint to your child's education, okay? So what is the purpose? The IEP, as I say all the time, creates an opportunity for teachers, parents, school administrators, related service personnel, and students, when appropriate, to work together to improve educational results for children with disabilities. The IEP is the cornerstone of a quality education for each child with a disability. The IEP is not a one and done process, okay? By law, it has to be reviewed yearly. However, I highly advise you to request your IEP meetings on a quarterly basis every 4 months so that you stay on top of goals, services, accommodations, any issues needing resolved, and progress reports. Basically to cover what is working, what is not, what goals are mastered or not mastered, and why. Plus any issues you have concerning anything versus waiting and losing a whole year. Think about how much your child changes in 1 year. Do you really want to wait that long to find out that your child is possibly struggling or not mastering any goals? This review and meeting is crucial so your IEP is as accurate as possible so that it in fact meets your child's needs. Making changes and adjustments so your child continues to grow and progress is and should be the goal. I will always, actually, let me step back. Let's talk about goals for a second. I have always and will always, and have teachers email me goals, and have my teachers, my child's teachers, email me the goals they propose in advance. So I have them give me the goals for my child in advance of that IEP meeting. And I review them. And this gives me a chance to go through them and write out what I propose. Then at the IEP, we all discuss the goals that I have written based on their proposal and thoughts. I make the final decision, but I do hear them out and think about what my child can master if pushed with high expectations versus low expectations, which really the school can tend to have, okay? Goals are to be smart, specific, measurable, actionable, realistic, and time limited. You have to know how to write these. It is extremely important to understand this, because if you cannot specify what your child needs to do, how it will be measured and done based off the impact of disability, and have a time in which it will be mastered, failure will happen. Let me keep going. All right, back up. All right, so let's keep going. If you're here with me, you obviously believe your child is struggling or needs help, or you're over the overwhelm and frustration and most likely are ready to pull your hair out. Am I right? IEPs are meant for children with all varieties of physical, behavioral, developmental, and skill delays that can cause them to have trouble learning, functioning in an educational setting. All right? IDEA defines 13 categories of disabilities, which include learning disabilities, physical impairments, speech and language impairments, intellectual disabilities, emotional disturbance, multiple disabilities, hearing impairments, other impairments, visual impairments, autism, deaf and blindness, traumatic brain injury, and developmental delays. And there's some more. All in which may require special education, accommodations, modifications, and services. However, this is solely based on, hear me here. If you hear anything, hear me here. It's based off impact of disability. Let me say that again. All special education services, accommodations, and modifications are based on one thing: the impact of the child's disability, not the diagnosis. Okay? And just a FYI, diagnosis does not get you more of anything. And the diagnosis does not mean the child automatically qualifies for special education. Remember that. It's all about the impact of disability. Starting the IEP process is definitely overwhelming. Shoot, I had no clue where to start 12 years ago. This is why we are here. Let me help you get started by going over the 3 most common and costly mistakes parents make before and in the IEP meeting. Mistake number 1, not being prepared. I cannot yell this, say this enough, and tell you how important this is. It's the same with anything you do. If you fail to plan, plan to fail. And failure with your child's education and their IEP should never be an option. This would be detrimental to them now and in the future. You are now a lawyer who does not get paid. The process, plan and prepare, which is included in my laid out plan of action, that includes what I call the hunt and gather. This is when you are getting out there and hunting down all the information you must know, gathering it together, asking yourself the right questions, just like a lawyer does, right? Then you're able to create a laid out plan of action, just like a lawyer creates his case, based off all the information you obtained from your hunting and gathering. Make sense? This then allows you to create your blueprint, so you will fully be capable of becoming the CEO of your IEP meeting and to properly present, persuade, negotiate in the right way. So the right research, doing the right research on your child is also important. And a lot of parents fail to really dive deep into this step. If you don't, it can create a huge roadblock during the presentation. Oh, and just so you know, I do not mean Google research. Okay, so are you asking, okay, Raven, how do you prepare for the IEP? Well, to answer that, you will start off by studying your child. Yeah, I said study your child. As if you're going to take an in-depth exam, not knowing what questions will be asked. What I mean by that is you have to watch them and study the things they do. What are they good at? Where do they struggle? Why? What would solve the struggle? What triggers them? What is the behavior after the trigger? What is going on at that moment the behavior is taking place? And what makes them tick? I'm not talking about what their favorite food is, their favorite color, or even their favorite toy. That's not studying. Also, pay attention to the quirky little things that they do and ask yourself, why are they doing that? And if you can, ask them. One of the biggest ways to really understand what your child needs in their educational setting is to observe them while they're in school. This will provide you with valuable insight. Make sure to take mental notes. So ask questions while observing your child. This is all done in your head with questions that I give you to answer, and they're crucial. Write down your mental notes. What made you happy? What made you unhappy? What concerned you? What really ticked you off? Ask yourself, if my child did not have this blank, what would or could happen? Or if my child had this blank, what would or could happen? That's a big question. Think about that. Think for a couple days about what you observed. Write down everything that comes to mind. Then you're going to email the executive director of special education, special services, same thing, the principal, the teacher, and the special education teacher, who typically is the case manager. You're going to, in chronological order, go through your hunt and gather, meaning everything you observed in studying your child, your concerns, your thoughts on observations, and any other questions you may have. This, too, is part of your hunt and gather. Let me tell you why. They are going to respond and do what? Give you more information. Hold on a second. There is so much more to the hunt and gather. So know here, we are just lightly touching on it. The key here is if you wrote your email in the right way, in stating your hunt and gather, observations, etc. And this, my friends, is the tricky part, because the foreign language in navigating the IEP process stems from the communication strategy you must have in place and have mastered. And it's not what you think or how you would talk to me, your friends, or even a stranger at Starbucks. Mistake number 2, know your rights and the law. Okay, we got to get through this quickly. I know it's a lot. So knowing your rights and the law is crucial in all areas of special education. That's why I completely walk through the top 5 laws on video for parents. I completely go through the top 5 laws and why they're so important, which is why I guide you on a journey so that it is easy to understand. And what's better than that is how to implement them right now in your IEP meeting. Reading law is foreign to many of us. Believe me, I know. You are the only expert on your child. And if you do the work and go through the right process, you will succeed. It may not be the first IEP or even the second. This is why the rinse and repeat is so important and so important to understand, because practice makes perfect. And the hard part is knowing the process and understanding the process. I have worked with many parents who have told me, Raven, I had no idea until I watched one of your Facebook Live videos that I should do this or that. Now, let me tell you, being set back simply because you did not understand what your rights are and how to present them in the right way with the right flow, where the law comes out without being quoted and read to them, which will automatically shut your team down, by the way. You must learn how to take what the law is, hear me, what the law is, okay? That foreign language that needs to be broken down, that I break down in the 5 laws. And what you need to do is take the law and what it means and flip it to be about your child and how it pertains to them and the impact of their disability. Does that make sense? You can do your own research and even get your PhD in Google like I did. Just kidding. But if you fail to present in the right way and ask yourself the right questions, you might as well hang it up right now. Mistake number 3, letting the team run the show. This drives me nuts. A lot of parents get overwhelmed. I did, believe me, with the team talking at them all at once, and being overbearing, or here's the kicker, or complimenting your child over and over when you walk in the room, which is a communication strategy, by the way. Plus, it's really frustrating for parents when the team tries to convince them that their child only needs this or that, not asking the parent's perspective and just not hearing the parent, period. I cannot tell you how many parents tell me how the school is not hearing them. And let's go into the bullying and those damn gatekeepers, or even the gaslighting and intimidation. Shall I go on? Let's not. We as parents know what our children need because we know them best, better than anyone. So do not let the team run your IEP meeting. You must learn to become the CEO of your IEP meeting. Remember, if you do the work, you are fully ready to present, persuade, and negotiate if you have your plan and prep done right. Do not let the team or school staff overwhelm you and make you feel like a nervous wreck and shut you down. This will prevent your voice from being heard and doing what you need to do to advocate for your child. Breathe, take a moment, take control back, and keep it moving. Emotions in an IEP meeting can be devastatingly detrimental to the whole process. When you run your IEP meeting in an organized way, going through each staff member, this is part of my unique system. You go through each staff member, you mirror them, and communicating in the right way to effectively get things accomplished, you will realize you are still hunting and gathering for more information to quickly come back with a solution. So let's sum it all up really quick. I've gone through a lot with that and in depth on the 3 mistakes parents make. And I hope you are still with me and feeling pumped up to get your child what they need and deserve. We're almost at gift giving time too, and surprise time. So let's recap and sum this up. The 3 most common and costly mistakes parents make before and in the IEP meeting are: number 1, be prepared. Learn to successfully study your child. Ask yourself the right questions. Hunt and gather everything you need in order to successfully plan, prepare, present, persuade, and negotiate, if you have to, in the right way at your IEP meeting. You have to do the work. Number 2, knowing your rights and the law, specifically the top 5 laws and the number 1 statute, and how to read them and implement them so you're not preaching the law to the team, which will immediately shut them down. Knowing your rights and your child's rights will put you ahead of the game. Number 3, do not let the team run the meeting. When you become the CEO of your IEP meeting, this means you have the knowledge and confidence to get things done, just like a good CEO does. Think about this for a second. A good CEO runs the meeting, yet allows all to be heard, is quick on their toes, is a problem solver, and most importantly, knows how to plan, prepare, present, persuade, and negotiate in the right way to get the job done. Okay, now remember, everything is built off your child's impact of disability. So in reality, you have to take where the need or struggle is and change it all up to reflect how the impact of disability affects your child's education. All right. Are you ready? I promised. Now we're going to speed things up a little bit. And now that we're all up to speed on the 3 common and costly mistakes, it's now the moment you've probably all been waiting for and heard me talking about. I promised I would share something huge with you and, of course, give you your free gift. Let me ask you, do you want to feel knowledgeable and confident to become the CEO of your IEP meeting? Do you want to learn my proven system? What about if I offered to guide you through the whole IEP process from beginning to end? Or what if I said I will guide and teach you the system I created and give you a plan of action and how to take action to get things done in the IEP meeting by getting your child what is needed, appropriate, and deserved? What if you could learn exactly what you need to know to get all the educational support and services your child needs? What if you could walk into your next IEP meeting feeling knowledgeable and confident with a plan in place? Let me introduce you to Rock the IEP, the course. It is a 6-week comprehensive course where I will guide you step by step through the whole IEP process by helping you create a plan of action, and then how to take action. My unique and proven system that includes the hunt and gather, the PPPN, my trademark plan, prepare, present, persuade, and negotiate process that will change your IEP career forever. What does the course entail? Step-by-step guidance from identification, evaluations, IEEs, the prep, to scheduling, the IEP itself, and what to do, how to do it, and everything in between and more. In just 6 weeks, you'll have an in-depth understanding of the whole process and everything the IEP process entails, along with understanding IDEA and the law. Plus, the attitude you need to have to walk into the room and own that room to get your child the services, accommodations, modifications they need, deserve, and are entitled to. The know-how to back up what you say. You'll know your rights and can establish and command authority even in a room full of higher-ups in the education industry. Save yourself thousands by becoming your own best advocate and the CEO. What do you get? All right. Weekly modules. This course is spread out and gives you 6 modules in 6 weeks. These weekly modules have 2 to 3 lessons within them. These lessons are packed with everything you need to get the knowledge and confidence to become the CEO of your IEP meeting so that you do rock the IEP. You get info-packed video and PowerPoint lessons. You'll watch and learn and go from stressed out, lost, frustrated, overwhelmed to the CEO and rocking your IEP. You'll get one large fillable workbook. This is huge. This is huge. This is where you get your homework and do your homework, all right? It's amazing, and you'll have this every step of the way, and you'll refer back to it for years to come. I promise. Here's my favorite part. You will get face-to-face support that you need to succeed with these bi-weekly Zoom chats. See, I've got your back. Oh, and the role play we're going to do on here is amazing. You'll also get a private Facebook group. And bonuses galore. I don't know if you've checked out my website, but the Educational Vault is awesome. And you get access to the whole Educational Vault. Everything in my Educational Vault is yours. The top 5 laws are in there, the hour-and-a-half video PowerPoint presentation, the daily communication sheets, functional living worksheet, my email templates, the evaluation and IEE guide, the vocabulary PDF, a mediation and due process PDF, and so much more. It's crazy. You get PDF printables, and you get an in-depth walkthrough. So you're not going into the course with, oh my God, what do I do? How do I do this? Where do I go? It's kept super simple for you. So each week we're going to cover a new topic to empower you to tackle every part of the IEP process, from planning to the meeting to the implementation. Okay? So week 1, where do I start? Identification, evaluations, IEEs, assessment, your blueprint. We just start at the beginning, the baseline. We'll map out the journey of getting evaluations, getting the diagnosis, determining eligibility, the eligibility meeting, and more. All right. Week 2 is IEP prep. There's your plan and prepare, your special factors, LRE, FBAs, BIPs, the hunt and gather, and so much more. I'll go over who should be at your IEP, the crucial special factors to know, what to ask for, and what I call and teach the hunt and gather. How to schedule your first IEP, how to properly prepare for the meeting, and so much more. So week 3. I went ahead of myself. All right. So week 3 is FATE, procedural safeguards, PWN, the 7 elements, creating SMART goals, step-by-step, and more. This week we cover the IEP meeting, what to say, how to say, what you need to say, how to go through that mirroring process and truly run that meeting. Okay. We go over the PWN and I walk you through step-by-step how to create SMART goals. This training will also include how an IEP should be carried out and how to maintain communication, okay? I keep moving. I'm so used to moving. All right, let me go back. All right, so week 4, after the IEP, what do I do? The who, why, what, and when questions, resistance and conflict, and more. The IEP is over. What do I do? So this is important because say you have a not so great IEP, there's that, okay, what do I do now phase? And you have to understand that that's okay to be in that phase. You have so much more to do. Okay. And just know that, please know that. All right. Because CEOs, what do? They know how to deal with resistance and conflict, and they're great at creating solutions. Week 5, how to read assessments, measurements, statistics, the bell curve, plus gatekeepers, and the 20 lies parents are told, and more. IEPs are a yearly event, at least. I educate you to never do that and just have one IEP meeting a year. Once you've had one, it should be smooth sailing, some people think. Not quite. We'll cover how to stay calm, get prepared, and rock another IEP. Plus how to read assessments, plus what the gatekeepers do and why, how to handle them, and the common lies. All right, week 6, we talk about quarterly IEPs, transitions, ESY, follow-up, your rinse and repeat. And in this final module, it's super crucial to understand that ESY process, understanding transitions, and how ESY specifically and so much more is not based off of your child is getting great grades. All right, we go through all the common issues and ensure progress is measured and reported to you, and how to handle the problems through the coming years and follow up, okay? Because you have an IEP career ahead of you. There's so much more that I could go on and on. So I wanted to at least touch on it with you. So this course is valued over $1,000, but for 72 hours, I'm offering it to you for $397. There is a payment plan available, actually a really good one. When you join Rock the IEP, you will get more than just a bunch of modules, videos, lessons. You actually get me and my ongoing support, which I think is priceless, because how many courses have you gone through? You're given the course, here you go, have a nice day. You can email them for support if you have technical issues, but that's it. I think with the IEP, it's super important to get that ongoing support. And you may be wondering, why do I need Rock the IEP? Couldn't I just Google all the information I need? Well, Rock the IEP saves you hours and hours of stress, anxiety you get from searching and searching as you navigate the IEP process, and you'll get results. I've done the work for you and have presented it in the right way that is simple to understand. If you've listened to my Facebook Lives, you know I break it down and make it super simple. Plus, you get the support and guidance you need in our exclusive Facebook group and with our face-to-face Zoom chats where you can ask questions, role play, have emails looked at before you send them, your other paperwork looked at, the recordings listened to and properly looked at in the sense of, hey, you could have said this, you could have said that. Oh, that was really good. And all that feedback that we want, need, and deserve, because we need that ongoing support. So that is, to me, the priceless part, all right? Because we're all on the same journey together. And it's such an amazing thing to all be there together every step of the way. But I am here every step of the way. Avoid the mistakes I did and the trial and error, and get the support you need to rock this IEP. And we can do it together. As a thank you, I have a very special gift for you. My course, Rock the IEP, like I said, is valued well over what I'm offering it to you tonight and today. So this one-time offer for 72 hours only, it will never be this price again. Okay? The educational vault itself is more than the price of the course if you bought it all individually, okay? Because this is the first time I'm launching this amazing course. I am offering it to you at $397, okay? It will be going up, all right? And that's not all. I want you to know that this $100 off is yours today for just showing up and being present, okay? And it's a steal. And you do get to choose a payment plan if you need one. So click the link in the question and answer section, and we'll also post it in the chat. Rosie will post it in the chat. Jenny and Jennifer will post it in the question and answer for you. And you can click the link and grab your course today and get started tonight if you want to. So thank you for joining me. I really appreciate you guys being here. Don't forget, we're doing a question and answer after this. And really, I thank you from the bottom of my heart for taking the time to be here with me tonight. I know it's been in depth and a lot of information to digest, but I know you got it in you. But since you hung in there with me and you're still here and we're fully present, I'm going to give you a gift of the 7 elements of the PWN and why this is so crucial for you to know. We spent a lot of time together, and you should be proud of sticking around and diving in with me. So register now for Rock the IEP, the course, and save yourself years of time, anxiety, overwhelm, and more. I think you know what I'm talking about. Plus, tons of money, because special education attorneys charge an arm and a leg. Because they know, as parents, we will pay for our kids. They're worth it. So follow my proven system. Okay? That went too fast. All right, so follow my proven system and become the CEO of your IEP meeting. Now, your child is depending on you to be that person for them, right? We talk about this all the time on my group and my page. And I'll go back here. So my group is Autism Mama Rocks the IEP group. You can contact me at support@autismmamarockstheiep.com. And I'm going to hop off here, and you're going to see me, and we're going to have a question and answer session. And grab the course. It's over in the chat. It's over in the link is also in the question and answer. And the link to the 7 elements of the PWN is also there as well. So thank you so much for joining me tonight. I'm going to be hopping off, and I'll see you guys in just a second. Hey guys, how are you? All right, so let me look at these questions. All right, I don't see a whole lot of questions unless I'm seeing it wrong. Let me see. Does anybody have questions? All right, here we go. I see some questions. All right, so let me back up. All right. Let me see. All right, so Jen posted the workbook. Karen says, I am currently writing IEP for 2020 and 21 school year. Awesome. Okay. So are you needing help with that? Are you just telling us? This one's funny. It says Samsung Galaxy. Can I ask all the teachers and therapists to email me their goals and therapy strategy before the IEP meeting? Absolutely. You absolutely can. Okay? Absolutely can. All right? Sabrina says, how do I get permission to do an all-day observation at school? Is the district not allowed to do that? I don't recommend it. That's my personal opinion, but I don't recommend it. I mean, I don't see you getting any more value out of going all day than you would going several different times during different days so that you can see what's going on throughout the day. I think it's a lot better to show up unannounced than to show up and they know you're there all day. That's just my thought process. You can ask the school district if you're able to do that. You are by law allowed to show up at your child's school and observe your child, but some school districts require you to set an appointment. Some don't. You need to find out what that is. I would just personally show up and go with the flow, but they cannot deny you. Who to email again? Okay, you want to email the director of special education, the teacher, the special education teacher, and the principal. What do you mean by communication strategy? Well, you learned that in the course, India. But yes, the communication strategy, it's a foreign language. You have to learn how to, you start your meeting and you go through the whole meeting and you have to really communicate in the right way. And you run that meeting. They stay quiet until you're talking to one person at a time and you mirror them, keep moving, and then you go back around and problem solve. And it's something you do very quickly. And it's something I teach you in the strategies that go about it. I actually physically and verbally walk you through it. So I don't just verbally walk you through it, I actually show you how it's done. Day Day's mom says, having a hard time making out what you are saying. Audio is very echoey on my end. Oh, I'm sorry. Did anybody else have a hard time? Can you send a copy of this slideshow? Let me think about that. Our main laws in all states. Yeah, idea is idea, Carly. Idea trumps anything else, special education law. Now, each state has their own laws, but those laws can only be equal to or better than idea. So, for example, for an evaluation, reevaluation, the school systems either have 60 or 65 days. So you have to find out what your state does. So another example is your state a one-party or two-party state, which goes with recording. So if it's a one-party state like mine, you don't have to say anything. You can just record. I record my phone calls, I record my IEP meetings, and I record anytime I walk into that school. If you're a two-party state, you actually have to say, hey, I'm recording right now, or I'm recording this meeting, or I'm recording this phone call. All right. The slideshow again. I'll think about it. I wasn't planning on it. No. Janet says, where do I find my rights in law on an autistic child? Well, it has nothing to do with what the disability is, but IDEA is online. It's out there. What do you do when they do compliment your child so much that then what do you do? Oh, I shut it down quick. So the minute I get into that meeting, the minute I start running it, I'm actually very straightforward to the point. I don't sugarcoat things. As you could probably tell, I'm very straightforward to the point. I'm there to get it done. We're not friends. This is a business relationship. So let's keep it moving. I'm here to talk about my child, get my child what's needed and appropriate and deserved, and then I want to go home. So when I walk into that meeting and they start all that BS, I say, okay, look, guys, I got a lot to do today. So I really want to get through things. I want to start this meeting. So if you don't mind, I'm going to go through things with you and then we'll get the conversation going. So this is how I'm going to do it. And then I teach you the process. Okay. So I just quickly get to the point. I don't worry about if I hurt somebody's feelings or anything like that. It's not about feelings and emotions. It's about your child and getting things done and getting them the services and the modifications, accommodations that they need. And we're not there to chit chat. We're not there to talk about how awesome my child is. I already know that. So I move quickly past that. All right, so Joanna says yes, Galaxy says yes, Samsung says yes. What are the top 5 rights and laws you're referencing? Well, you'll have to listen to my top 5 laws. Samsung says, how to ensure that the class teacher follows the recommendations and perform all their duties as discussed during the IEP. Well, that's where a lot of that's where hunt and gather comes into play. And so you have to actually know how to properly do that. And being able to hunt and gather is asking so many questions. My course is filled with them, I guess I should say. And that's what I mean, honestly, about you have to do the homework. You really do. And so many parents want to just move and get it going because we want, as parents, so bad for our kids to get everything they need. And yet we actually have to step back a second. And, you know, that reevaluation, that evaluation is crucial and your baseline. If you haven't had one in a year or more, you have to have one right now, you know, because if you don't know your child's PLAFP, PLAAFP, you are going to fail your child, because if you don't know where they are presently, how do you move forward? You know, someone just asked, hey Jen, someone just asked about the course. I don't know where they, give me 1 second, guys. Okay, let me click that. Give me 2 seconds, guys. So that's kind of important. I'm trying to think. Yeah, so like when you hunt and gather in the right way, all right, you actually learn a process that you're going to take with you forever, not just in the IEP, to be quite honest. I don't talk about this often, but I have my master's in educational leadership and business management and marketing. And, one of the things that I used to teach in college to college students, I taught elementary too, but when I moved on and taught college, I taught a class on communication strategies and business and how to get things done and how to learn to do what I now trademarked, my PPPN. Because if you think about it, yeah, I take you through the whole IEP process. I teach you everything you possibly need to learn. I've joked with people who I tested things out with and said, if you don't learn something in here and can't go get it done, and then the only thing you have to do is go practice, and practice makes perfect. And I joke and say, hey, I'm not a Nike commercial, but you got to just go do it. And then you learn and you keep going. And the coolest part too is you get to come back and go to the Zoom chats face to face with me and other parents that are going through the same thing. And you get to say, hey, this is what I went through today. Check out this video or check out this recording. And then we can listen to it together and say, oh, that's what happened. That was great. Keep doing that. Or, hey, you know what? This is how I'd change that up to make it better. So you get that collaboration and that fallback of, oh crap, my IEP did not go how I planned, kind of bombed today. That's okay, because you have this rinse and repeat process that is going to take you through your IEP career. It's okay to have to rinse and repeat. It's okay to have to do it again. That's life. And you have to accept the fact that you're going to do it and you're going to nail it. You just keep doing it and you get better. The hardest part is learning how to create and prepare that plan, create a plan of action, and to take action. Once you're taking action, it's a cakewalk because you just practice and practice and you will get it. I can promise you that. So just know that as you go through the process, you're going to learn how to make it happen and you're going to really nail it. I can promise you that. So make sure that if you're interested, grab the course, grab it now while it's at a lower rate. Get the payment plan if you want to. I don't care. But every parent that's going through this in the IEP process needs this. And it's really an amazing thing. This is so awesome. India says, GE says how much? It's $397. It's $100 off what it's going to be on Monday. And so it changes price and you have an amazing payment plan. So check it out. Click the link in the question and answer section. Jen, if you could post it one more time for people, that would be great. And then we'll be able to make sure you have that. And Rosie, if you could definitely post it in the chat, and then Jen post it in the Q&A again so people can click on the link. All right. If for some reason you don't grab it, PM me, go to Autism Mama Rocks IEP on Facebook, PM me, get a hold of me. I will be up for a couple hours tonight. I'm already getting messages from people, so I'm going to be available, but it's in the chat and the question and answer now. Okay. And that was for G. W Malone says, I can't see the screen after what included the price. Okay, so the price is $397. It's $100 off for 72 hours only. You have an amazing payment plan, or you can choose to pay it all in full. And it's worth every penny. My educational vault on my website, autismmamarocksiep.com, is more than the course itself. In Missouri, students have evaluations every, no. Okay, Jamie. So if you're still on here, let me correct you. It's not in Missouri that students have evaluations every 3 years. By law, per IDEA, every child is required to have what's called a triennial evaluation every 3 years. It's a triennial reevaluation. So that's law. So all school systems have to do that. Now, us parents have the right to ask for a reevaluation or evaluation at any time as long as it's reasonable. That word drives me nuts because it's not dissected. It's not a month, 3 days, 5 days, so it drives me nuts. But reasonable is 1 year. Okay, every year have your child reevaluated. Then you know their PLAF, their present level of academic and functional performance. You know exactly where they are. You can look back on the previous year, compare them. You get an IE, which is, I teach you that in the course, and then you compare the two evaluations. You compare it to the year before. You grab the records, which I teach you what to get the whole record, because a lot of parents will say, hey, can I have my child's educational record? And then the school system totally gyps them on what they give you. So you're able to really dissect it. And that's when you're really doing the work, right? You're going through last year's, this year's, the IEE, the educational record. You're looking at it all and figuring out if goals repeat themselves. You're just looking at so much. And then I teach you how to read assessments, bell curves, what standard deviation means, what the mean of the assessment is, and more. So just so you know, the triennial and 3-year is for all special education students all over the United States. It's law per idea to do every 3 years. By law, us as parents can ask for a reevaluation, what is called a reasonable amount of time. And so I suggest you do it every single year. Think about how much your child grows in a year. With an autism category, can a student lose their IEP if their evaluation is on? There's no such thing as a score in a evaluation, so to speak. It's more where they fall. So you see a score. So for example, if the mean is 15, which a lot of times it is. And so then if your child is in the negative as far as where they placed, what you have to first understand is you got to figure out where the average is. All right. And then figure out the number. It's actually like a mathematical equation. You actually have to figure out the number in which your child, how far they are behind. And then you want to compare it to the year before and so forth and figure out where they are. No IEP can just be withdrawn from you unless there's an IEP meeting, a PWN is given, a detailed explanation in the PWN as to why. And then you have rights that you can then proceed further if needed. So things can't just be taken, bam, and you just have no say. It doesn't work like that. So if a school system does that, they're not compliant in the IEP, because per idea, you have every right to argue it and put the IEP in what's called a stay put status and stop all things from happening while you go about things. Okay? All right. All right. So Cindy says, is it possible to get a copy of your presentation? Everybody's asking that. Oh my goodness. So Jen posted the link again to grab the course. Make sure you grab the course, guys. Trust me, y'all, it's worth it. Thanks, Rachel. I appreciate that. It's sweet. Erin says the course is amazing. Yeah, I gave away the course to my group early. I cannot say enough how happy I am. Aw, worth every penny. It's been helping me get the direction I need to advocate for my son, which is desperately needed at his school. I can't wait for the rest of it. I've been dying to get the 5 laws research in the vault. It's there now. So the fact that I have access to that along with the course is awesome. Thank you. I appreciate that. Tabitha says, how do I get a class aid for my autistic daughter? Okay, so one-on-one. That's in the course too. You have to do what I suggested, is go back to the baseline, and you have to find out where your child's PLAF is. That's baseline. You have to know that to move forward. So many parents go into the IEP and, you know, they're fighting, and my child needs this and my child needs that. And why aren't you giving my child what they need? And, you know, look, they're not passing. And you go in with all the tools that you feel are appropriate. And I get it. I do, but it's not enough. You have to be able to talk numbers. You have to be able to run them through a plan. You have to be able to present it in a way that they feel like they gave that to you, if that even makes sense. All right. So you create a plan of action, a solution that you present to them in the right way, and make it about they gave you that information. Thank you very much, even though you know you did it. And so I teach you the strategy behind that. Can a 3-year-old be assessed for an? Absolutely. Can we do the course? Absolutely, you can. You can take 6 weeks, get stripped out once a week because you have a lot of homework, so you're not going to want it more than once a week. And you get everything immediately with the educational vault. You get all your PDFs, your workbooks, everything. It's a simple back-end membership for you. It's not super complicated and it's super easy to follow. You can take 6 weeks or you can take 6 years. Okay. And you always have the ongoing Zoom. You always have the ongoing Facebook page. Okay. In the group. All right. So to me, like I said, honestly, the course is awesome. I know it is. I worked my butt off for 7 months with it. But in all honesty, as a mom, that Zoom chat is priceless. Priceless. Because there's so many times where I remember going into an IEP feeling like a failure. Nothing was working out. I was fighting and fighting and fighting for my child. I was coming out of the IEPs in tears and just feeling like, I don't get it. I've done so much research and why is this not working for me? You know, I fought forever to get a one-on-one. I fought forever to get 4 hours of ABA every day for my child. You know, my child gets 12 hours of ABA therapy every week, every single week. She has every single service, reading. She has OT, PT, speech. She has dance, music therapy, all these things because she has autism. And these are things that are actually scientifically researched and proven to help them, you know? So if you have a child with other disabilities, you know, that's one thing I do teach in a portion of my course of different children benefit from different things, you know, and knowing what those are and being able to fight for them in the right way is priceless. What do you do when teachers, keep those emails that they didn't respond. And, you know, in the course, you also get the email templates I give you. And one of them is this. And you have to make sure that you follow up with, I'm sorry, I've been writing for the past 3 months, and date those dates. On February 1st, on February 15th, February 28th, I wrote you and I said, blah, blah, blah. All right. Not one of those emails has been responded to. By law, I have a right to communicate with my child's team and to know how my child's doing and to ask questions and to have that communication. So I really don't want to have to move forward and progress forward with things because I'd rather just communicate here. You know, put them on that defense a little bit, but don't accuse you. But I give you all your templates. Kimberly says, can a school diagnose? Absolutely not. Schools cannot diagnose, ever, not ever, okay? Only doctors diagnose. Schools can evaluate and assess. Doctors diagnose, okay? So go to a developmental pediatrician. I teach all that in the course as well. That's actually in Module 1. It's in your blueprint. I give you a laid out blueprint of exactly what you do. But absolutely not. A school cannot diagnose. You mentioned observing. Is that something just in certain states? Absolutely not, Jennifer. You can go look at your child, observe your child anytime. Don't ever let the school system tell you you can't. And if they do, then you have rights to complain about that. And by law, they have to let you. So even if you have to take it all the way to the state, then that's what you do. But by law, they have to let you observe your child. Like I said, some school systems may say you have to make an appointment. So I tell parents, make an appointment for 1 o'clock on Monday, 9 o'clock on Tuesday, 12 o'clock on Wednesday. Book their appointments. My child is 3. He has less than 75 word vocabulary. He currently attends bed 2 times a week. Should I absolutely push more days? Is he an ECSE, Karen, which is early childhood special education? Tiffany says, what can I do if I have already signed off on his current IEP and it has been finalized? Send a letter and retract it. So say, I no longer agree to the current IEP in place. You learn this in the course as well. You can always back. It doesn't go back, but from today, February 6, 2020 forward, it no longer exists. So you need to request an IEP meeting immediately. But you don't want to request an IEP meeting immediately unless you have a plan. When do you suggest the best time to observe my child in school? I think I just responded to that. You want to go different times, different days, all that kind of stuff. All right. What is the difference between classifying the IEP as autism versus educational autism? Someone said that. Is this the lady who who did this on my group? There is no such thing as educational autism. All right. I actually, I was talking to a lady. If this is you, then I talked to an attorney today in reference to this and one other thing. And I'm not sure if you know, but I trained under Pete Wright. And there's no such thing as educational autism, okay? Different states may call things different things, and that's fine. Just like, for example, certain states call mainstreaming and your child being in a regular educational setting inclusion. Do you know that word is not even used in IDEA? There's no such thing. But school systems use that word. Does that make sense? So educational autism is non-existent, okay? Autism is a diagnosis, and the impact of disability from having autism is where services, accommodations, and modifications come into play in the educational setting, all right? So when a school system may say something as stupid as that, as educational autism, which is ridiculous because there's no such thing, what I'm assuming they mean is autism is a diagnosis. So schools don't diagnose. Schools don't give special education based off a diagnosis. So school systems give special education based off the impact of disability. So educational autism could be the impact of the disability, autism, in the educational setting. That's the only dummy-proof way I can think of it, but there's no such thing as educational autism. All right, maybe what they're trying to say is the impact of disability from the autism diagnosis is affecting education. That's why your child qualifies for services, accommodations, and modifications. But I can tell you for fact, 100%, hands down, there's no such thing as educational autism. Autism is autism is autism. There's a spectrum. Children fall in it all over the place, but there's no such thing as educational autism. Hopefully that clarifies things. Latasha, what if you cannot afford the payment for the course within the 72 hours? Can we still get it at this price? It changes to $497 on Monday. So PM me. Okay. But just so you know, there's a 4 payment plan. So you can take the $397 and I divide it. Okay, so if that helps, but you can also PM me. I need the link for the course. I have been searching my email and can't find it. So can you post it again, Jen, in the chat? Tiffany, it's in the chat. I think what we need to do, are you on here, Rosie? I'm just going to send an email. Okay. All right. I just Voxered you, Rosie. Or maybe if she's asleep, because one of my tech people there in England, so I feel so bad for her. She's there. I feel so bad. So thank her, because she is in England and is 5 hours ahead of us. So like it's 9:19 here. It's like what, 1 something there. And then Jen's up, and I couldn't thank them enough. So they're amazing. So Tiffany, we're going to post it again right here. Jen, are you still with me? Or if anybody, can you guys post it in the question and answer, the link again to the course? And Tiffany, we're going to just go ahead and send out an email to everybody with the link to the course. All right. Rachel says, can the link for the gift please be emailed? Yes, ma'am. Dory says, how do I make SMART goals? Can you provide examples? I do in the course. I actually go through a whole section of that. Let me tell you something, all right? Creating SMART goals, aside from knowing your child's PLAF, sounds so weird. It used to be called PLOP, present level of performance. All right. They took that word away and now it's called PLAAFP, which is present level of academic achievement and functional performance. Yes, we'll just send link for the gift and course. All right. Just basic. Here, let me tell her real quick. Okay. Oh, you can hear me. You can hear me. Duh. I'm sitting here like getting ready to talk in Boxer. Okay, so Rosie, just send out the link to everybody here for the course. Just say, here, everybody, here's the course, link. And hey, everybody, hey, everybody, here's the link to your gift, just so that they have that basic. And then just tell them, say, expect a replay in the morning. Okay. So just short, simple, here you go. Have enjoy the course. Message me if you need to, kind of thing. All right. Okay, so SMART goals. SMART goals, man, once you understand how to write a SMART goal, you will feel more proud. I can't even tell you how proud of yourself you will be. And, the reason I do what I do, if you've seen any of my lives, been on my Facebook page or my group, and the group gets question and answers, the page gets lots of content. And I think many of you know that I'm very passionate about what I do. All right. And the reason I'm passionate about what I do is because when I say I've been there, I don't mean that I've just been there. I've been through hell, just being transparent with you. And I get very emotional sometimes. I've cried on my lives many times because you know how when you've been through something almost like so traumatic that when you talk about it, you can't help but have emotion. So when I created this course, I put all of that behind it. I put the love and emotion, the determination, the knowledge that I gained from screwing up so many times. And when I say it's taken it took 6.5 years, it's no joke. I've literally shown on my group, IEPs and, recently, I showed people that I made 19 state complaints and I showed them the documentation that when I do something, I get it done. I do. So I actually showed them the 19 state complaints that I made and every single one was founded. So when I say I've been in the trenches and I'm in the trenches with you, yeah, my daughter's IEP is awesome. But that doesn't mean I don't have issues. It doesn't mean that I don't run into conflict. It doesn't mean that the school system still has issues implementing the IEP. But guess what? Because I know how to hunt and gather, because I know how to observe, because I know my system, I know how to make sure to find out what's going on. I have quarterly IEPs. I'm on top of the school like you would not believe. Because if I'm not, then my child gets swept under the rug. I mean, they don't do that now because they know I'm that parent. So I tell parents, you got to get good at being that parent. Be okay with being that parent. get okay with the fact that if you walk into the school, that they're like, oh dear God, Doris and Cindy and Jesse and Sheen and oh God, they're walking into the class, they're walking into the school. You want to be that parent. You want to be that. I mean, who can criticize a parent who will do anything for their child to get what's needed and appropriate? Anything. Are they worried about getting along and everything being hunky-dory, or are they worried about getting what's needed and appropriate and deserved for their child? You have to make a choice. So making SMART goals, when you can do that, you'll be so proud of yourself. And in the course, I go through exactly how you write them. All right. So how you make them specific. What does that mean? What does a specific goal look like? And I give you different examples so that you can base it off your child, because your child's different than every other child. So I created the course with a lot of love and support and guidance. And I help you, number one, get prepared. Number one. Then I help you plan. Then I help you create that plan of action. And then I help you take action. And in that process, you learn how to PPPN. Plan and prepare, present, persuade, and negotiate. Because if you don't have a plan of action, then presenting and negotiating ain't ever happening. Does that make sense? So SMART goals, progress reports, evaluations and reevaluations to know your PLAF, and having a plan of action. Huge. All right. How do you get the 7 elements? It's going to be emailed to you, and it's also in the link here on the question and answer, so you can grab it right now. How can a homeschooling child get an update IEP? Same way that a child not homeschooled. So homeschooled, private school, charter schools, same thing. All right. So charter schools have IEPs, private schools have IEPs. They're actually both run by the school system if you did it the right way. All right. If you just took your child out of school and put them in private, you're going to have a little bit of trouble. But there is a way around that, but you're going to have more trouble than you would if you argued with the school, you didn't agree, and then you all of a sudden, had to go to private school. Does that make sense? Rosie, let me know when that's done and send me a copy, please. The email, so I can know that that's done. Should I stop the contact between my daughter's mental health coordinator outside of school, or should I leave where he can contact the school or the school can I'd have to know more about that. So let's talk about that. Gina says, is my son's BCBA an appropriate advocate? No. We are in the process. No. So a BCBA, which I'm a gung-ho ABA fan, then, and anybody that's against ABA just had a bad experience, because ABA works. There's different ways of ABA. So if there's anybody on here who's had a bad experience, try it again, just get a good BCBA. A BCBA is all about behavior. So a BCBA would be a good person if your child is having serious behavior problems and you want them to explain why a one-on-one would be appropriate because of said behavior. All right. But they're not going to be an advocate, if that makes sense. Okay. If you have a plan of action and then they're there to be the proof of why that behavior needs a one-on-one, then you're golden. Karen said, just sharing the info. What do you mean by that? I just want to make sure I understand. Cheryl says, we're not allowed to show up with an appointment. When I do that, they always prepare and clearly fake a lot about my son. Is that normal? I'm just trying to understand if I read it right. We're not allowed to show up with you're not allowed to show up with an appointment, or you're not allowed to show up without an appointment. Can you clarify that for me, just so I respond appropriately? And the school system's fake. I feel you there, but explain your question so I can answer it more, better for you. Michelle says, my son is 11 and just diagnosed with ASD and ADHD. I had an IEP meeting scheduled already for tomorrow. I will advise them of his diagnosis, how I can proceed with the meeting and his new diagnosis. Are you asking me how to proceed? Let me know what you mean, Michelle. I'm still on here. I'm not in a rush, so you guys just keep typing. Um, my child has special needs, not autistic. Okay. Will this course absolutely? His IEP, I think, is written well, but they refused to follow. Well, that's a big deal. There's no point in writing it if they're not going to follow it. Absolutely. And yes, I'm called Autism Mama Rocks the IEP because I have a child with autism, but I'm a disability and IEP expert. It has nothing to do with autism. It has to do with the IEP. So yes, this course is for you. It's for anybody who has an IEP, a 504, and has a child with special needs. Okay, that's it. Any type of special needs. It could be Down syndrome, muscular dystrophy, low muscle tone. That's a special need. Autism, you name it. This is about IEP, the IEP process. 504s are in there a bit, and how to change from a 504 to an IEP. And that is, it's specific for special needs. Okay, so absolutely, Faith, absolutely. Hi, and thank you. I'm Stephanie. My child is 4. Who is the case manager? Well, you can find out. Ask the school. It's typically the special education teacher. Lana says, examples of goals and strategies for an autistic child for the behavior, frustration, crying, and can't calm down. Yeah, there's tons of goals and strategies that can be created and established for that. That's actually pretty common. So, you know, once you're able to create those SMART goals, you're able to really navigate that, especially with behavior, frustration, and crying is more behavior based, not educational based, but the behavior affects the education. So a lot of parents kind of get that confused, as behavior is still a disability by itself. And the thing is behavior is not just a disability by itself, but that disability affects education because their behavior is taking over. So you need a FBA. My son's school, Amy says, Izzy, is it Amy, Izzy? My son's school does one teacher at a time, so it makes much easier to stay on track. That's awesome. Anonymous attendee, can you see my question? I can see you say that. So I can't see your question, but I can see that you said, can you see my question? All right. Amanda says, I read about services during breaks like summer and such. That's ESY. My son doesn't lose what he has gained. However, emotionally, that time out of school, that's a loss. So for example, that's what I was just saying is ESY, in my opinion, is for all children with special needs. All right, let me just give you an example. So number one, the school system will throw at you, well, your child's passing. Okay, so what does that have to do with anything? A child doesn't have to be failing to get ESY. So like you just said, you gave such a great point, Amanda, is he loses things and he emotionally breaks down. That's what you're saying. All right. My daughter's the same way. So even though she has had lack of progress over the summer, but her main thing is just like Christmas break. She started behaviors that didn't happen before Christmas break because that change of schedule throws her. So that is a reason for ESY. Bottom line, it's keeping them on a schedule that they're used to. And children with autism and many different disabilities thrive on consistency. So absolutely, absolutely. Would that be enough for us to, absolutely, you should get an ESY, but you got to know how to fight for it. Z says, I experienced the same issue with audio. Are you guys okay now? Can you hear? Jen and Rosie, can you guys hear me okay? Melanie says, we met with the school principal and requested a classroom observation on our children. She would not grant it. That's not allowed. Absolutely not. Did you get that in writing, Melanie? Oh, you know what, guys? I'm so stupid. All right. No, I'm not stupid. But seriously, so I'm sitting here reading these questions and answers, and I did not realize that you guys are responding to me in the chat. I had no idea. So I apologize for that. I didn't even see it. So let me finish the questions. I'm going to hop over. I'm so sorry. Okay. So the anonymous attendee. Okay. So now she's talking. Okay. Where was I? All right. So Melanie, please make sure that you get with me. Seriously, because that is not okay. That kind of stuff just ticks me off. Where have you been for the last 11 years of my life? Seriously, I just got the course yesterday and am already light years ahead of where I was to start with. The school system messed with the wrong mama. Amen. Good for you, Jamie. That's awesome. All right. I can't wait to get to know you in the Zoom. I'm going to be getting to know all these new people. All right. So anonymous attendee said, I'm a single mom. I used to be a single mom for many years. I am a single mom who is so overwhelmed with all this stuff. Do you know, for the first most of my daughter's life, I was a single mom. With all this stuff, we can barely afford our rent and bills. So what would be the lowest amount for the payment plan? So the payment plan is $117. All right. And you can PM me. I'd be happy to talk with you. Okay. So to keep it private, you're welcome to PM me at Autism Mama Rocks the IEP. Join the group. Just people are like, well, where's the group? It's just Autism Mama Rocks the IEP group. And then the page is Autism Mama Rocks IEP. So how you know the difference is on the top header of the page, it says Autism Mama Rocks the IEP, and it says grab your checklist. And then on the group, it says group. Okay. So message me, but as far as the payment plan from the price, it's $117. Can you explain the parent section in the IEP? Can we provide our concerns up front to the team meeting and to the team in writing? Sure. And you can bring them to the IEP meeting and they have to put them in there. Although my child, I actually teach parents to do that, but I have you create a bullet point checklist. So when you go into the IEP meeting, you have this bullet point checklist where you check it off as you're going through it. And that's another reason why you want to run your IEP meeting, because as you run your IEP meeting, you're going through your bullet point checklist and it keeps you focused, it keeps you organized, it keeps you on point. Emotions don't typically get in the way because you're so focused on your bullet point checklist and you get it done. Can you explain the parent side? Okay, so I did that. Although the child's doctor diagnosed him autistic and requested several therapies, the school said in the IEP that it does not affect him in school setting. Therefore, they don't recognize him as autistic. What? Just that he qualifies for speech and nothing else. My question would be to you is, who cares what the school said? I want to hear from you, the parent. What behaviors does he have? What types of things affects him in school, in your opinion? How do you think he's affected? Is he passing? Is he mastering the things he needs to be mastering? If they're not giving him any services, accommodations, or modifications other than speech, how is he doing? Is he just doing amazing because obviously the school system says that he's doing perfect and they're not going to offer him anything? Yes, I'm being sarcastic, but fill me in. What else? By havoc, I mean the meltdowns and aggressive behaviors. Yeah, which is a problem. So definitely is addressed, and if I'm remembering right, ESY. I received my son's IEP today. I don't agree with it. What's the next step? Don't sign it. And then in the course, it tells you everything you need to do. That's why I created this course. All your questions are in the course, guys. That's why and let me tell you, I created it because I'm one person. And do you know, I can only work with so many people and do 1 hour, 2 hour, 4 hour sessions. And you only get so much done. And my 2 hour and 4 hour, by the way, is more expensive than the course. And that's all you get, 2 or 4 hours. And the course, you get me on a Zoom every other week. We do stuff on the page in the group where we're doing homework. I go live. You guys are going to go live, where you're going to put yourself out there. You're going to come out of your comfort zone. You're going to practice, practice, practice. You're going to put everything into action, and you're going to get things done, you know, and you get so much more because I poured everything into this course. All these questions I'm telling you are in the course, all of them. Every single question I've answered, like the ESY one, because of the behavior. I go through in detail what ESY is, why you get it, what you can fight for, how you fight for it. I teach you every step of the way, and you actually get me on top of it, which is by far more than you get in 2 or 4 hours. And I'm only one person. So those 2 and 4 hours, I can only do so many. And I've helped people locally and traveled to people from local people who gave my name out. But now just only my page and my group is at 3,000+, and I'm only 3 months in. I've only started my page 3 months ago, and it's blown up. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm only one person. But in the meantime, before I even started the page and everything, I was already working on my course. All right. So India says, oh, wait, hold on. I got to go back. So the IEP, you don't agree with it. Number one, don't sign it. Don't sign it. And then yes, you have to go back to the meeting, but you got to have a plan, because you can't just show up and say, hey, I don't agree. And this is why I don't agree. I don't agree because, you know, I'm not happy with this. I mean, you got to have a concrete plan of action. So Shannon, there's definitely next steps. You have to take next steps actually pretty quickly, depending on if they're going to put it into play in 10 days or if you need to immediately squash it. So you need to know right away. The IEP team includes special service director, yes, admin, special services teacher. Well, it's the special services director or special education director, et cetera. You don't need an admin because the special education director is that. The special services teacher, it's special education teacher, general education teacher, and all related services. Correct. If the child is 14 and older, are they allowed in the meeting as well? Yes. So this is, who is this? Karen says the IEP team, yeah, okay, you're right. I am at the steps at my son's school where everybody is getting the ball rolling. They keep making it about behavior. What do I do? Well, what is it about, India? I don't know your situation. Do you have anything for how to deal with your child if your child is not qualified? Yeah, I talk about in my course, like what you have to do, and finding out why they're not qualified in the next steps. Galaxy says, what would you do if you found out he had been writing all the papers for your child? Who was writing all the papers for your child? Found out he had been writing all the papers for your child and tell you how much her writing has improved. Holy crap. Who's writing those papers? Wow. Karen's, how many more do I got? Oh my God, look at all these questions. Okay, hold on. Rosie, do I need to make you a admin of the group? I think you are, Jen, so you could admit people. Okay, so I see what the issue was. I never got to joining the pro or group. I just sent the email. Okay. I made the purchase with. Okay. Sabrina, how long is the course at this price? So today, Thursday through Sunday, it's $397, and a payment plan of 4 at $117. And then on Monday it changes to $497, and then you still have a payment plan at $147. Tiffany Crew, it's 4 payments, so spread out for you. Karen says, this is my 2nd year in special services. The paperwork in itself is very telling me. I can only imagine. Hold on. I'm going to tell my husband he can come home. All right. This is my 2nd year in special services. The paperwork in itself is very overwhelming. I can only imagine how the parent feels when it comes time to create and attend. Yeah. I have parents that only come to sign the documentation and that's it. I have only had 3 parents since I've been in special services to ask questions and actually come prepared. Wow. See, guys, that's coming from an educator in special services. Telling you, you have to have this knowledge. Thanks, Karen. Appreciate that. Chrissy says, if you bomb IEP and sign it, you can go back until court. No, you can go back 30 days later. In your IEP, an IEP is never a one and done, guys. So you say you have an IEP, you had one today. All right. You can literally today, which is what I did for almost a year, write an email and say, I need another IEP, please. I expect to have a meeting within the next 30 days. That's law. They have to meet with you within 30 calendar days, not school days. Angela says, purchased the 6-week course last night, finished the first module. Can't wait to complete this course. I learned so much already. Thank you. Oh, you're welcome. Look at that. My group members have gotten it already. Good for you. With the payment plan, can we pick the date it is paid? It's paid today, and then it's paid every month. So it won't do biweekly. So it's once a month. So it's February through May, and it's every 30 days. Make sense, Sabrina? So like, for example, you buy it now, and then, on the 1st, just put that money aside, When can I ask for emergency? There's no such thing. People think that there's emergency IEP meetings. Now you can ask for an emergency IEP meeting if it truly is an emergency, but honestly, that's up to the school system in which constitutes an emergency IEP meeting, because in IDEA, it doesn't specify. So legally speaking, there's no such thing. And the school system can shut it down. However, if it is a true emergency, like your child's safety or something like that, then absolutely. I mean, you don't even have to call an emergency IEP meeting. You can demand to meet with the superintendent and other administration. Joanna says, I want to sign with your offer, but my daughter is 19 years old. She has 2 years of high school. And at this time, we're looking program outside of school. Whatever I will learn in your course, I can still use in adult school. Yeah, I talk about transitions. Absolutely, Joanna. So, I mean, it's something you'll take with you, and you know how it is. She's 19. You can actually still keep her in school for a couple more years, and why not make them pleasant? But yeah, you're welcome to PM me too on Facebook, and we can talk. So, because I want you to feel like you got something out of it, So Mickey says, my youngest is on an IEP, but is failing. The psychologist, 2 months, she went from honor roll and unable to finish her work due to behavior issues. We are currently going through an evaluation with a psychologist. She is being diagnosed with ADHD and ODD, but in the meantime, the teacher is unable to handle her. I am thinking to request an IEP meeting to modify her IEP. Am I able to request this due to her work? Absolutely. You absolutely can, Mickey. Absolutely. I was told I need a new diagnosis of ADHD and ODD. From who told you needed a new diagnosis? If your child's already been diagnosed, who would tell you that you need a new one? So all these questions I'm asking, if you're posting them in the chat, I'm going to come to them. I'm just trying to go through these. Karen says the parent have the right to ask for a copy of their child's IEP. We need, since, hey, Jen and Rosie, you guys can go, you know. The email went out. I think Rosie sent an email out with the link and the link for the gift and the link for the course. So everybody got it. Hey, Sky, everybody got it in there. Okay, go ahead. I know. Thank you. All right. So you guys, everybody has everything in their email, and I'll handle it from here since everybody's gotten it in their email. So thank you guys. Let me know that you can hear me, like text me or something. All right. But thank you guys. I'll message y'all later. See y'all. I have a great team. All right. And then Ashley, I don't think is on here, but she's amazing too. Part of my team. She's the one who put everything behind everything and made it all freaking work. So, you know, she's amazing. So I couldn't thank my team enough. So, the parent have the right to ask for a copy of their child's what do you mean, Karen? The parent have the right to ask for a copy of their child's IEP. We send current level of performance home every 9 weeks. Oh, you're telling, yeah. Okay. I was like, what? Of course they can have a copy. To let the parent know if they met their goals. Yeah, that, hey, Karen, let me tell you something. I just found out with, what did you say? We send CLP home every 9 weeks. Okay, let me tell you something. When I made my complaint, the 19 complaints that I just made from the state, and this isn't a state thing, this is a federal thing. I just want you to know real quick. They actually, in the corrective action plan, along with the, here, let me tell you. Okay. I just want to explain this to you real quick. Okay, so the parent alleges that she did not receive progress reports related to students' reading goals. All right. So then the state said, all right, in their analysis section, that the records contain a statement, like it was so serious. I made so many complaints that the state actually went out to the, the school and the administration office. And then basically, this is what they said. They said the record contains a statement from the student's case manager averring to the issuing of progress reports per her IEP requirement. So basically, I made a complaint saying I didn't get her progress report. And then she goes on to say that, because, you know, their attorney is up at the state. It also includes a copy of a comprehensive progress report from November 2017 to October 2017. The only progress report included was from fall of October 2019. So when the state actually made a physical appearance at the administration office, they actually saw everything. And then it goes on to say, website states that report cards are issued every 9 weeks, and there are mandatory progress reports issued every 4.5 weeks. We note that progress reports provided to this office do not include the mandatory 4.5 week interim reports. Thus, we find the documentation provided does not support that progress reports were issued in compliance with special education laws and regulations. For the foregoing reason, we find the school system in non-compliance of this issue. So I just wanted to let you know. All right, Karen? So hopefully that helps you. It's a federal law. India says, have you ever had to go to the Board of Education? Absolutely. I just did. And I have gone to due process as well, India, because the school is not doing enough. Yes. And I'm highly against mediation. I am a hell no to mediation. No way. Have you ever had to go to yes, you don't have to go to the board. It's state complaint due process if you have to. And due process is your last resort after trying and trying and trying. And complaint, shoot, I do that. You don't implement the IEP, I don't care. There's no chances. I'm making a complaint. Anonymous attendee, the package is just digital, correct? Anything you need on the menu. Everything's online. You can access it from your phone. You can access on when you first do it on a computer, get your membership straight. You do your email, you do your you set up your password. You can get in at any time. It's always available to you. If I ever update it, you get the updates, and it's awesome. And you can print out your workbooks. You can, Ashley's actually in the next 2 weeks making the workbook where you can work in it online if you want to. So it just takes a lot of time, and the workbook is huge because you actually have a lot of homework in this course. You do the work and you get it done. So yes, okay. You can print it out and put it in a 3-ring binder. You can keep it online, however you want to do it. I made it very accessible to everybody. And even for in the deaf community, I actually made it accessible that way by giving them the scripts to everything that I say. And you get the PowerPoint presentation, you get the script, everything that I say. So people that are deaf, they need that, and so you get everything in visual and able to read as well, like visual as in where you can see it with colors and all that, and then you get it where you can actually see it in black and white. You get it where you can hear it, and it even has closed captions, all that kind of stuff. Electric wallet, what is this course about? The whole IEP process, creating and preparing a plan of action, taking action. That's what this whole presentation was about. Very in depth. You get face-to-face Zoom chats, you get a private Facebook group, you get ongoing support. Why can't I click on the link? I don't know. Which link? We emailed everything to everybody too, but tell me what link. I don't know who anonymous attendee is, so if you want to PM me, I can get you whatever link you want, but I can get you the link to the course. It's actually up here. Let me see. Here it is. Let's see if it's going to let me. It's not going to let me clip it. All right, so hold on. Let me grab it. Anybody else need any other links? I'm just going to click it. All right. All right. So I'm going to put it, I'll put it in the chat, and that's where I'll put the link, okay, for the course. I just posted it. Okay, so it's right there. All right, so click the link. It is there for you. All right. All right. So let's keep going with questions. Are you guys still on here with me? All right. So put your questions in the question and answer, and I just put the link to the course right there. All right, but I'm going to be hopping over to the chat, I promise. So if you guys stick on, I'll answer your questions. All right, someone raised their hand. So let me know. All right, so the link's there. Grab the course, guys. You want to get it at this price, I'm telling you. All right, so let me go back. Michelle says, so the program is going to go through the group. No. The program is its own thing. All right. You don't even have to be part of my group or my page if you didn't want to. I would hope you would, but you don't have to. But no, you get a private membership site. You do the course at your own pace. Now, the cool part is you actually get Zoom chats with me, kind of like this is a Zoom chat, just like this. And where you see my face, I actually can see your face. And, you know, it's an amazing thing. All right. So like when I set it up to where I can see you guys, then all our pictures show and we actually can talk to each other. Isn't that cool? And then we're going to role play. We're going to, you know, in the group, in the Facebook group, the private group, we're going to do where you can post video, you can post recordings, because you hopefully are recording every single meeting and every phone call with the school, all of that. So I go through all of that with you. So I think it's priceless to get the ongoing support. I mean, that's something I wish I had, you know, when I was going through all this. And like I just showed, you know, I'm still going through stuff, you know, I just made 19 complaints, but that's just because I'm no bullshit anymore. You know, I'm not playing games. You know, I know what I'm doing. I know what to do. I know how to make it happen. And guess what? The school system, let me tell you about this complaint. I've made complaints for the past 12 years, not every year, but like I've made complaints for 12 years. Let me tell you something about this complaint. It's totally different. I went crazy on my group the other day explaining this to them. I mean, I was so excited. And the corrective action plan, they're on probation for 2 years. They have to be babysat from the school system, from the state. The state is going to physically come to the school system, the admin office, and the admin office has to tell them everything that they're doing in reference to Sky, my daughter, because they screwed up that bad. And they are being held accountable. I've never seen this before. I've never seen, a school system's on probation. I've never seen where they actually every month have to report to the state as to how they're implementing the IEP. I've never heard where the state actually is physically going to go out to the school system, to the administration office, and make sure that they're doing what they should be doing. But I'll tell you, you know how I got them? I had it all on tape. And I keep, you know what? That's what I'm going to do on the group, on our, like on a question and answer or something. I'm going to go through all my emails and show y'all. I do a lot of stuff on Zoom and on lives on my page and group. So like I show you guys stuff, but I'm excited to show you guys that. Like I'm so meticulous with emails, you wouldn't believe. Like I'm meticulous with them. I mean, I know what questions to ask. I know how to ask them. Like when I record, I know it just comes with experience, guys. I'm not a know-it-all. It just came with experience. I have years of experience. And I know what questions to ask. I know how to get somebody going. And I got the director of special education and I got it all on tape. And this is all in regards to reading last year. That's the issue that I ran into recently. So just because her IEP is awesome doesn't mean that I don't still go through stuff. And so that's where the complaints came from. But I literally got the director because I knew how to present in the right way. I got her to literally spell it out. She was like, I know there was lack of appropriate instruction. I know there was, you know, failure to implement the IEP in regards to goals. I know. I mean, I literally got her on 13 things on recording because I knew what to ask, how to ask it. And she had no choice but to answer. And I got her going so much that it just came out. You know, people forget that you're recording. And if you know how to go about it, I didn't say anything rude. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't nothing. I just knew what to say and how to say it. And again, that comes with experience. Woo, there goes my phone. It comes with experience. So just know that, you know, when I teach you guys, that I'm not teaching you like, I got this, you guys don't. It's not like that. It's, hey, I was where you guys were. I was in the suckiest of suck. And I just took 6.5 years to figure it out. And I don't want other parents to go through that. It's not okay. You know, it's not fair that we all have to go through this. It's not fair that we have to go through all this stress. It's just not. So I wanted to create something that would make life a little bit easier for us. All right. So lately when I email the case manager, she has assistant principal instead of her, and they request to discuss via phone. Nope, no phone. Or if you do, get Rev Recorder and record it. So that's for Cheryl. My son school does that as well, and they won't talk you with out an appointment and fake the meeting playing. Keep everything in writing, guys. I have asked the principal to get out denied and he doesn't have time to meet with me. Well, if you have it in writing, that's an easy fix. Yeah. So you guys need this course. PM me if you have questions. I'm going to have my phone on me for quite some time, okay? So message me. All right, look, I already got a crap ton of messages. So message me, okay? I'm telling you, message me. All right? I want to talk to you guys. I am a physical human being. I'm not doing this just because. Of course, I created the course, and of course, you get compensated for things you do. I think we all know that. But I'm not charging an arm and a leg. I'm giving people payment plans, and I did this because I'm one person, and I truly believe and understand where you're coming from. I mean, just like I showed you, I just made, a complaint. It goes to show you that I've been through this. I live this too with you. I've just gotten to the point where I get things done and I have perfected the system. All right. And in that, with, I guess, my educational background, I have been able to create an amazing course based, and not my first course, just my first course in IEP. And that's effective and has proven to be successful. And now I'm giving it to all of you. So grab it, guys. Do the payment plan if you have to. All right. Michelle says, how does ESY work? Gosh, it's through the summer, okay? And basically, you keep your child hopefully in most of the same things than the school year, but it's not like the school year. Like, you can't expect it to mimic the school year. All right. So depending on your child's needs is what will be given to them. So for example, if they need services such as, speech or OT or PT, that can take place. My daughter, actually, they paid for horseback riding camp, therapeutic riding. I've had all kinds of things, reading programs. It's based off need. So there's no cap to it. Like I said, I want my daughter to go to horseback riding camp. She needs therapeutic riding. It's proven scientific based therapy that helps children of all special needs in so many different areas. So I fought for it. I emailed everything to everybody, Galaxy. So if you're on this, and you obviously got the link, so you got emails, so you just got an email that has your gift and the course link. So, Michelle says, is it like school day, a couple hours? No, it's not like the school day. Jesse says, if you are scared about starting back up IEP because when my son was in public school, he didn't get what he needed at all. Jesse, this program really helps you understand how to stay on top of things. Does that make sense? So that those things don't happen, so that, oh, they weren't providing it. You're going to know. I promise you. Okay. If you don't, then on the Zoom chats and the group and the course, and you're going to contact me and we're going to talk and we're going to figure it out. Even if I have to show up to your IEP on Zoom, or if you're local, I'll come to your IEP meeting. I mean, that's the kind of thing I'm going to do for my course members. Like, I attend Zoom just like this, or attend IEPs via Zoom like this all the time. That's why I said I'm one person. That's why the course is crucial, because I can, only be spread so thin. All right. Georgina says, every time I go and talk to the teachers, because every time my son gets home, he throws a tantrum because he bottles up all the notes. That's normal. And and his classmate keep touching him in class. What the teacher responds is that it's perfectly fine, and he could run the class. She doesn't see he is getting anxious. Well, start recording. And that actually is in my module 1, Georgina. You need to record him. The library was asking lots of questions when I printing PDFs of the course. They never seen anything like these forms. I was like, yeah, these can't just be produced. I'm like, I've invested a lot for this. They know I'm up to something. They were like, what's this stuff for? I'm like, for being an attorney, my children's IEP. I think they thought I was nuts. That's funny. That's great. Blanca says, my son keeps getting hurt. What do you recommend? He keeps getting hurt during. That's not okay, Blanca. That needs to be addressed immediately. That's a safety issue. So if you want, you can call me. Can we include something about, absolutely, 100%. You don't even need to include something about safety. That's the school's job. I mean, no, I mean, that means they're not protecting your child, and that's illegal. That's not a federal issue. That's a state issue as far as the school can be in trouble. I mean, you can call CPS on them. Shoot, the school system, that's how they get back at us, by truancy and calling CPS. So why don't you call CPS on them? Let them find out how your child's being hurt. You know, I always say flip it. If they're going to be nasty, you be nasty right back. And that's what you should know. I hear you, Sky. I know. I know. She's like, I got home so late. I went to bed so late. Mom, I'm going to be so tired in the morning. You know, that repetitive, Mom, I'm going to be so tired. Can I have 5 minutes? Can I sleep extra 5 minutes? Please, Mom. Christy says progress reports every 4.5 weeks is not a federal law. Yeah, actually, for my state, Virginia, it states that what she stated is that it's due every 9 weeks. Every 4.5 weeks, it's supposed to be provided as well. So per idea, it doesn't have to be every 4.5 weeks, okay? But as far as the state, because again, there's state laws and there's federal laws, okay? So federal law, IDEA states progress reports have to be given basically when a child with non-special needs, that does not have special needs, gets a report card or gets something sent home, okay? So federal law states that when a child with non-disabilities gets something sent home, progress report, which is a report card, then a child with disabilities has that same right. There's no different right, okay? So federally, it just says progress reports needs to be given to the parent, just like same as a child with non-disabilities, okay? So in what your state is, if children get their report cards every 9 weeks, then every 9 weeks you get a progress report. That's federal law. Okay? Now, by law per your state, halfway through in Virginia, our kids get a progress report in the middle of the semester. So if the kids in your state or county get report cards every 8 weeks, every 9 weeks, every 12 weeks, then say it's 12 weeks. Then every 12 weeks you get a progress report, and every 6 weeks you get a progress report. Because halfway through, all children get a document that says, hey, this is how your child's doing so far, and then you get the report card. That's a state thing. Federally, it's children with disabilities get a progress report just the same as a child with non-disabilities. So hopefully that clarifies it for you, Christy, because federal law does state that an IDEA states factually that a child with disabilities gets a progress report at the same time that a child with non-disabilities gets a report card. So if a child has disabilities and special needs and they get a report card, they get a report card and a progress report. So if your semester is every 12 weeks, every 9 weeks, then every 12 weeks or 9 weeks, your child gets a progress report and a report card. Some special needs children get report cards, some don't. So federal law states that, okay, in IDEA. It's actually one of the top 5 laws and part of the top 5. And as far as 4.5 weeks, that's a state thing. So for us, it's every 9 weeks, and we get, it says it right here, and this is from the state of Virginia, DOE. So you have to find out what your state is, but it is typical in most school districts that kids don't just get a report card and nothing halfway through. You do. So if on your and that's what she was saying, because all state compliance officers are attorneys in every state. So what she's saying is it doesn't say that report cards or progress reports have to be given every 4.5 weeks, but children with non-disabilities get one and get a, what do they call it, a pre-report or whatever, every 4.5 weeks. So my child has to get one too. It's just different because they have special needs. So you have to find out in your state what the halfway mark is and what's required. But federal law states the semester. Okay, so 9 weeks, 12 weeks, 8 weeks, whatever it is. All right. So I requested they write the conclusion that Amy says this, that data their teacher gave them shows with high functioning autism, or redo the whole evaluation. They are only wanting to acknowledge his ADHD. We were talking about this in my group, and people weren't happy with my response. Bottom line, it really doesn't matter. All right. A lot of parents, even myself, say, yes, you should get your child's diagnosis in the IEP. You should. However, it's not the end of the world. You can keep fighting to get it in. That's fine. They're going to eventually put it in, and that can be worked out. Okay. So rest assured. However, remember that special education is given because of impact of disability. So if you have documentation of behavior issues, educational issues, whatever it is, it doesn't matter what's in that IEP as far as a diagnosis if there's a need. So just remember that. Keep fighting for it to be put in the IEP. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just trying to clarify for parents so they understand that it's not this has to be done or my child doesn't receive, or a lot of things that parents say is if your child doesn't have their diagnosis in the IEP, then they're not going to get as many services. That's not true. It is not true. 100%. Because services are based off of impact of disability, not the disability itself. And that's straight up an idea. It says it just like that. It's not about the disability itself. It's about the impact of the disability. Our son but Amy, just so you know, you should still get it in there. I'm just saying that it's not going to affect the services. Our son keeps getting injured. Yeah, I think I responded to that one. And that's called bullying, Juan. Not okay. So you need to handle that right away. In Georgia, IEP progress reports are issued routinely every 9 weeks. Good. That's how ours are. Concurrent with regular progress reports. Yep. But parents can request that the IEP team actually issue IEP progress reports. That's right, Christy. Excellent. Perfect. That's right. Have to get it in writing. Yes. Yes. And so we're 9 weeks too, Christy. So like I was just saying, It's federal law for the 9 weeks. It's not federal law for the 4.5. But on your school's, like it was saying, on your school's website, it will say, hey, every 4.5 weeks, we give out a pre-report or whatever. Then the school system still has to give you a progress report at that time. But it's not in federal law, that halfway mark. It's only in federal law, the 9-week mark or whatever your weeks are. Does that make sense? All right. Patricia says they haven't gotten an email. All right, well, send me your email on Facebook. I mean, I already have 50 million messages that I'm gonna have to get back to tonight. So if you haven't gotten an email, message me, okay, Patricia? But if you need the link, I just posted it in the chat. So just go to the chat real quick. All right. So it's like literally right here. Do you want me to like tag you? From Patricia, I haven't gotten the email. Yeah. Do you see the link, Patricia? Do you see it? Here, I'm going to post it again. Did you get it? I just posted it. Okay, good. Okay. I'm glad you got it. All right. So, I'm done pretty much. Woohoo with the questions. And then I'm going to move over to the chat because I know you asked questions over there. All right, Juan, you need to be on top of that. Okay. I have no tolerance for a lot of things. Bullying is one of them. And you need to get into that school and see what's going on. Ask your child if your child can speak, who the child is, find out who the child is. And, not that you're going to do anything to the other child, but you're going to bring that child's name up in your email and your conversation with the principal. And you're going to, the main thing, honestly, Juan, is how you go about this, because let me explain something. So when someone's asked me once, well, how is it that I went to the school and said this, and you went to the school and said this, and they jumped hoops for you and they didn't do crap for me? I have learned that you can't please everybody, kind of like you can't please everybody. You can't always be nice to everybody. And you can't, like, I'm a nice person. Okay. I'm nice. I'm sensitive. I love to have fun. I love my kids. I have a 23-year-old who's a teacher in Northern Virginia. She teaches English. I have a son who's 19, who's in the Coast Guard. And then I have Sky, and she's 14, and she's funny as all get out. Now, does she have meltdowns, and does she do self-inflicting behaviors like hit her chest, or like she'll scrunch her face sometimes? Those types of things? Yes. But guess what? She has a great BIP. She has a great BCBA, and she has a plan of action in place that I learned, that I had them teach me as well. And then again, I have an educational background. And so I make sure that I do things at home that, that they do at school. And I'm on top of everything. All right. I have monthly meetings with the ABA specialist and what she's doing and the curriculum there. She has functional living. She has, I have her actually in a more restrictive environment for core subjects, and then the least restrictive environment for other subjects, because I'm very firm on the fact, and even in my teaching, that it's not about the environment. Okay. Least restrictive or restrictive. All right. By law, they have to be provided the least restrictive environment by the school, but by the parent, you can actually make a choice, because if your child's not learning in the least restrictive environment, why put them there? Because they go to school to learn. It's not about playing and having fun and socializing. They can socialize at PE, and they can socialize in music, and they can socialize in art. They don't need to socialize in math, reading, English, language arts, whatever it's called, and history and science. You know, they need to learn. And that's the goal, is for them to learn so that they can become productive adults to the maximum extent possible, like it states in IDEA. So I help parents get the grasp on their emotions and really focus on what is the best decision and choice for that child. And how are they best going to learn? Now, when you're talking to the school, it's needed and appropriate. In you and I conversation, it's what's going to be best for them. And so that's where I really I help parents kind of think outside the box and then make the right decision for them, their family, and their child. So the program is going to go through the group. No, okay, I think I answered that. No, the program's not going to go through the group. You take that's a course. You actually get a membership site. You do it on your own time, and then you come to the biweekly Zoom chats, and you have the Facebook course group just specific for the course, for questions for the course, for face-to-face help with the support. Hey, I need to jump on a phone call. We're going to all have phone call conversations, all kinds of stuff. It's going to be ongoing help and support. It's going to be like my number one focus. Okay. By law necessary, the schools provide ABA therapy? No. You have to fight for that. All right. All right, so the link is right here in the group. I can't check emails yet. I'll resend an email, but you have to, the link is right there. Is that what you're needing? T3, Brittany, Patricia, the link's right there, the purchase link. Is there any suggestion on how to get a one-on-one for, yeah. One-on-ones, the school systems will fight you tooth and nail for, but it's not a hard navigating process if your child seriously needs a one-on-one. The easiest way to get on one-on-one is based off behavior and safety. Education-wise, it is a little bit more difficult, but it can definitely happen. The easiest way to get a one-on-one is based off behavior and safety, but they do so happen for education, obviously, but it's just a little bit more of a fight, and you have to have more things in place. And you have to be a really good persuader. And when I teach you to present, I help you present in a story-like way. So people like stories. People empathize with stories. People care. And that comes out even in a school administrator who wants to just be a butthead. You know, when you tell a story, people can't help but be human. And that's important. So I teach you how to present in a storytelling type of way, in getting what you want and need based off your child's impact of disability, so that you get things done. And sometimes you have to get mean, and sometimes you have to take other steps, and sometimes you have to do what you got to do, but at least you know what those options are and how to do it. You're welcome, Brittany. Olga says daughter is an inclusion school, says one-on-ones are not offered. That's not true, but I just found out there are 5 children in the district that have, right? See, I just told you it's not true. Is there verbiage in course to get done? Yes, absolutely. I talk about inclusion. I talk about how to get a one-on-one. We're going to talk about that actually in person as well. And you know, the course is a cool thing too, because I'm able to get to know you. It's hard to answer basic questions. When I get to know the child, like we're going to post IEPs. You can cross the name out if you want, but we're going to post IEPs so that, I mean, I do that all the time. It's one of my services in the education vault where I read IEPs, and tell parents, okay, you got to take this verbiage out. This is not good. I had a parent I worked with and she didn't understand why her child wasn't getting speech. And it's because it didn't say speech therapy as a service. It said her daughter would get speech in a group setting. What is that? I've never heard of speech in a group setting. Speech is a service based on a disability of a child not being able to do something. And I've never heard of speech in a group setting, ever. Now, reading, things like that, reading groups, stuff like that. Yeah, but not a speech OT, PT type thing. That's a service specified for that child and their need. So we did it. We withdrew it, came right on out. They changed that verbiage. They knew what they did. She just didn't catch it. Sorry if you answered this. I'm having trouble with my connection. What did you ask, Eileen? So we're trying to get a one-on-one because of behavior, but they saying no one is, but they are saying there is no one is the other avenue. There is no one. Okay, T3. What is that like? It reminds me of like Terminator or something. All right, so let me explain. So you cannot ever, this is one of the things I go through. All right. So I go through in my course, how I said in my presentation, conflict. Okay. This is one of the bullshit things that parents are told. Oh, we don't have that here. We don't have ABA here at our school. Oh, we don't do one-on-ones. That's against our policy. We don't do that. Or have you ever heard, oh, we've never done that before. We don't do that. We've never done that before. I'm sorry. We can't provide that. We just don't have it. Well, guess what? By law, if your child needs a service and it's appropriate for them, again, it's needed and appropriate. So in a way, if you think about it, and I'm so good at this, and I'm not tooting my own horn, but I am good at this. I know how to make everything needed and appropriate. Think about it. It just comes naturally to me, because I've done it for so long for so many people. So taking something a parent tells me and making it needed and appropriate is easy. So, but going back to this question, T3, don't ever believe that. If something is needed and appropriate for a child, by law, that school system has to provide it. If they can't, they have to hire from the outside and get that person. The people that do BCBA with my daughter don't work for the school. They contract out with the school. The school system has a contract with that company who comes in and does ABA with my child. And now they're the ones who teach my child. The special educator is out of the picture now. Thank God. So the whole BCABA team educate my child, who has learned so much more than with a special educator who has 8 to 10 kids in her class, and they very rarely, hardly teach sometimes. It's like I've seen some some do well, but some special education classrooms I've seen, it's like freaking daycare. Gwen says, wait, you said we have the choice of LRE or not. Of course. Even for, let's say, of course. Yes, you do. If least restrictive environment is a federal mandated law in providing FAPE for your child, which is free, appropriate public education. Okay. So in the school systems providing FAPE, which they have to provide what's called the least restrictive environment for each and every child with a special need to be included with children who don't have special needs, because it's scientifically based and research based that children who have special needs do better with children with non-special needs, who don't have special needs. Okay. Yeah, come here. So I make a face to that because, not because I'm making fun that children need to be in a least restrictive, I'm not saying that. Okay. Of course they do. but it goes back to say that not every situation works for everybody. Okay. So for example, Skylar right here, who just got out of the shower. Are you saying hi? Come here, let me put this on your face. So she does not do well in a classroom. I'm putting medicine on her face. Or lotion, I guess I should say, because she has eczema. All right, girlfriend. Give me a kiss. Love you. All right, here. All right, so basically she does not do well with, shut the door for mom, when she's in, say, a general education classroom and there's 28 kids in there learning science or math. That is not going to work for my child. Okay, so if that works for another type of special needs child, then that's great, you know, but it doesn't work for mine. And that's why I think it's so important for parents to understand that instead of generalizing something, to realize that it's not like that in the special education world. It's individualized. It's not a generalization, which a lot of school systems want to generalize our kids and make it a one size fits all kind of thing. And it doesn't work like that. And so yes, as parents, we get to actually say, hey, this isn't working for my child. My child's not learning. My child's not doing well. They're not getting good grades. They're not. Now, if your child is like on the high end of the spectrum or has ADHD, which a lot of ADHD kids are like super way past smart, and so is a lot of autistic children. And the thing is they just learn differently. So you could have a super smart autistic child, but they don't do well in a bigger classroom. Or you can have a child who's super smart with ADHD who has behavior issues and doesn't do well in a classroom. Now you can flip that. You can have an autistic child who does great in a general education setting, and you can have an ADHD child who does great in a general education setting. However, both in the general education setting need accommodations and modifications. Okay, cool, no problem. So if a one-on-one is the appropriate way to go about that child with ADHD or autism to be in that general education setting because they have good behavior, their behavior is not too bad, they're doing well in school, they're learning, but they're having trouble, say, sitting in their seat or focusing because they're kind of all over the place, or you know, have their little funny ways that they do, and they just need that kind of focus and redirection, then that's a great thing to have. Because my daughter's a teacher. She said straight up, hey, mom, it's not my job to go and be a one-on-one. I'm the teacher. I have 28 other children. And it's true. A general education teacher's job is not to give our children one-on-one attention. It's the school's job to provide a one-on-one for them so that they can be in the general education setting and learn from a teacher who does not have to give them one-on-one attention since she's teaching the whole class. So that's how you kind of go about a fight. And then you can even bring it into, and see, I'm just giving y'all all kinds of information here. And then you bring it into, if my child's doing this, this, and this in the least restrictive environment, then guess who's being disrupted? Not just my child, but other children too. And per fate and per idea, that can't happen. Do you see how the argument starts coming into play? All right. So Gwen, hopefully that helped you. Do you see how I get on a tangent? I get going. You don't want to get me going. All right. People who've had me in their IEP meeting are like, holy shit. Yeah. All right. Will the IEP follow them to college? No. You're welcome, Olga. Thank you very much. Looking forward to the course. Yeah, definitely, definitely. Pamela, what? You got it? I'm so excited for you. If you're still on here. All right, so Patricia says, my son had a need for a one-on-one. I had autism specialist BCBA at the IEP meeting explaining the reasons. Examples, they instead referred him to a social support, which turned out who's, oh, no. See, I don't like that. I don't like it when, like there is specific classrooms for children, and there are children that have serious behavior issues. And they need to be in a restrictive environment to keep them safe. There's children who have serious, I was talking to a mom the other day where her child has, eating issues and is on a feeding tube and stuff like that. And they have to be in a different environment to keep them safe. But when you have a child that is having some behavior issues that can have an FBA and then a BIP in place to create positive behavioral strategies to help them change that behavior, which is human. That is what anybody would do. That is what a normal child does. A normal child does something wrong. You hopefully, I screwed up with my first one, but my second one I knew, where you have a punishment that suits the crime, so to speak, and it's one of those things where you have to, you punish them and then they learn, and they don't do it again. That's like a BIP, where a BIP is a little bit different, actually, where instead of punishing them, you ignore that behavior. All right, that's what I do with Sky. It's different. If she's doing something wrong, unless I need to address it right away, safety issue, whatever, then immediately I immediately transition her, like she's having a meltdown right now. Because what happened is I'm doing this presentation, Dad took her out, so now she's melting down because her whole evening was thrown upside down. So if you hear her screaming, I apologize. My husband's dealing with it. So now she's having a meltdown because
Mom,
what?
I have a meltdown.
I hear you.
Because it's time to go to bed.
It is time to go to bed, Sky.
Just stay all night.
You want to stay up all night?
Yes.
All right, go sit in my bed. You can stay up all night.
I said no.
Oh, you don't want to stay up all night?
No.
Okay. Well, good night. I love you. All right. Have a good night. All right. So, I don't, like, as you probably just saw, I don't cater to a behavior. All right. Oh, she wants to stay up all night? Okay, cool. Go sit in my bed, stay up all night. And then what did she say? No, I don't want to stay up all night. Now she's going to go to bed, So it's like, I don't feed into behavior, and the school system needs to do the same. They need to focus more on how can I provide this child with strategies, because autistic kids can learn, ADHD kids can learn, all children with disabilities can learn. When I was younger, I used to have a child with Down syndrome next door to me, and he was amazing. He was so smart, So it's like school systems need to stop having low expectations on our children and have high expectations on them, just like they do children with non-disabilities, which is law. It's per idea. They have to have the same and not low expectations. But the unfortunate part is they have low expectations of our children, and then they kind of shove them off and put them in whatever classroom because that's what's convenient for them. I have a parent that was, and then I'm going to kind of cap this up. I'll look at a couple more questions. But, Patricia, one thing too, and was an issue was I have a parent that her child needed to be in a specific classroom, and the school system had that classroom, but they actually told this parent that classroom was full so that her child couldn't get in because that classroom was full. Well, they can't do that. That's fine. If there's a cap on the number to that classroom, okay, that's fine. But good night. I love you.
Mom, I screamed at Dad.
You screamed at Dad?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you apologize?
Yeah. No.
Okay. Well, you should. Do you think you should?
I feel meltdown today.
You feel mad today?
Yeah.
What do you want to do about that?
Scream at Dad.
You want to scream at Dad?
Yeah.
Well, I don't think that's going to solve anything.
That's not cool.
Not cool. That's
It's
right.
Bad.
Huh?
It's bad for him.
It's bad for him
If you scream at Dad.
if you scream at Dad. Yeah. So maybe you should go say sorry.
Mom, have a good night.
You have a good night too. I love you.
Love you.
She cracks me up. She seriously does. But as you may have just seen, this is so perfect. So that's what she's learned in ABA and her with her BIP. She's learned strategies to realize, okay, yeah, I screamed, but I shouldn't have screamed at Dad. That was not nice. Like she knows, like I shouldn't have done that. you know, and then she says, I was mad. So that's something she didn't used to do. Like, I was mad. That's why I screamed at dad. And so I said, you know, do you think you should apologize? And she at first said, no, I was mad, which is normal. You and I do that, right? But then she went and said, yeah, that I shouldn't have screamed at dad, you know? So her coming to the conclusion herself is huge for her, huge. And so this is what school systems need to see, you know, but they don't. All right, so hopefully I answered that question. As far as, okay, I got a question over here. My superintendent told me the same thing, was explained to me as your child receives a new diagnosis, change or added. This gives the parent the authority to completely redo that. Yeah, you can redo an IEP anytime. You don't have to have a new diagnosis. You could just say, I want a new IP. Rip this one up. This doesn't mean anything anymore. Let's start over. So you can do that anytime. As far as like when you do your yearly evaluations or and you change up goals and stuff like that, like I suggest it on a quarterly basis, that's when you're changing up goals, stuff like that. But at those quarterly meetings, say you need speech to increase or OT to decrease or whatever, then you're able to do that, you know? Hey, Sky, come here. All right, come here to mom. I heard that you did not heard speech group services. My daughter has 30 minutes. Yeah, I've never heard of speech group. There's 5 students in a group. I was always disagreed with the school and don't believe my daughter will learn. Yeah, they don't do that in my state at all. It should be direct. Hey, Skylar, mom's doing a live and you're being really loud. That's not cool. Complete meltdown. All right. We are in the process of an IEP and they propose sub-separate, and the doctors and my son's ABA therapist say he would learn best. Hold on. Olga says, you're such a blessing. I can't wait to get started. I asked about a classroom for students with high functioning autism. Yeah, those are popular classes. And I was told first they didn't have one. Of course they do. They later told me they have one, but it's for students' sensory issues. I'm not really sure what high functioning autism and sensory issues have to do with each other, because a lot of students have sensory issues and don't even have autism. So I don't even know what that means. Isn't autism and ADHD based on some, yeah, that, I mean, lots of disabilities have sensory issues. So I don't even know how they're saying, oh, it's just for kids with sensory issues, because that could be any type of child with a disability or special need. I mean, you could just have behavior issues and it be a sensory thing, you know? That doesn't even make sense. That's why dissecting what they say is so important. Like, this is crazy. I hope you guys all join the group. It's Autism Mama Rocks IEP group. Remember, it's different from the page. So you still want to be on the page, because the page is where I go live Mondays and Thursdays. On Tuesdays, I do a question and answer on the group. The group is more personal. I asked about classroom. Okay, so Gwen says TN does a group speech therapy as well. Yeah, I've never heard of them. I think because they're not that popular. I mean, I wouldn't agree to that. I don't even see how that would benefit. You know, if a child really needs speech, think about, I mean, if you've ever been in, like, I've gone to observe my daughter in speech therapy, and I'm not really sure how they'd be able to do that in a group, or how it would be as effective, I guess I would say. So, all right. So I guess that's it, guys. So you guys have the links, right? I will make sure an email gets out. If I don't have your email, though, you guys got to get me your email. So Yeah, I heard you, Sky.
Okay.
So go to Autism Mama Rocks, the IEP page, go to Autism Mama Rocks IEP group, Facebook message me. Here, I'll put my email here. All right, so copy and paste my email, copy and paste the course link. All right, I'll give you like a few minutes to do that. Would it be beneficial to have a notebook at the meeting that is communication with teacher? Yes. But what is your notebook for? Did you guys get that link? Did I send it to everybody? Can you guys tell me if you can see the link with my email? Yes. Okay, cool. All right. My child's behaviors and meltdowns. You know, I don't even get embarrassed anymore. I don't care. You know, like I'll be in the middle of a grocery store if she wants to have a fit. Shit. I mean, what do we do? You know, I mean, if I say stuff and like say get after her or say get mad or whatever, then it just makes it worse. So I mean, I'm not saying that it doesn't like do something on my insides. It really does. You know, it's kind of like, you know, when we had babies and they cried in their crib, it just does something to our insides, right? It's the same thing, but like if I make it worse, then it's really going to go down. So I just say, all right, let's go. I guess we'll go to the car. And then typically she doesn't want to leave. So then she'll calm down. But school states does not have to follow Dr. No, they don't. But if it's a medical thing, they do. But as far as like if the doctor said, oh, this child needs speech 3 times a week, no, they don't have to adhere to that. But you could fight for it, and it gives you a 1-up to fight for it. But the school system does not, they're not mandated to follow that. And but if it's a medical thing, like your child's on a feeding tube or they have to eat certain foods because they have gastrointestinal issues or whatever, that's totally different. Way different. All right. So medically needs something, and hey, I'm an MD and I suggest speech, OT, da da da. They have to take it into consideration, but they do not have to implement it. They're not mandated to. You are the one responsible to prove that that needs to be done. School states does not have to follow recommendations, individual aid. I don't know what that means. Faith. I don't know what that means. Yes, I can see it good. Amy says, yes, totally agree. My son has ADHD, ODD, and PTSD, among other stuff, and I'm not sure what to do to help him. He has a Chewy and seems to help a little, but he is not getting what he needs in class. Is he in speech? What do I ask about testing it for dyslexia? There's certain testing for dyslexia that is very effective. So we'll have to talk. I'm getting tired. Oh, well, he if he's on a Chewy, he definitely needs speech. That's a speech thing. Speech therapists can actually work with him big time, big time. My daughter used to have that when she was younger, and it was a speech therapist who gave it to her and then worked with her and was able to get rid of it pretty quickly. Yeah, that's not appropriate. So that's an easy fight. Hey, let's take you out of class and let you sit in the office. Or let's provide you a one-on-one so that you can actually be in the classroom and learn. Which one's more needed and appropriate? You guys are welcome. All right, so tell me, I want to see y'all tell me, did you get on the group? Who got the course? Who's in? Tell me. You're not going to own it? Just playing. Who got the course? I joined the both pages on Facebook. Cool, Amy. That's awesome. All right, don't miss out, guys. All right, the price is not going to be for long. Can the school speech therapy states that since my autistic child score high on speech evaluation, she has to graduate from speech? It depends on, did she do well? Like, I don't know. How did your child do? Out of 100? Is that out of 100, JMR? I'm accepting people now to the group. So if you've put your name in the group. I'm just waiting on your. You're welcome, Georgina. I'm excited to see you guys in the course. I mean, I don't know who bought the course yet, but I haven't really looked, but yeah, definitely go grab it. And we're starting the Zoom chats next week. And the Facebook group, basically when you join, you get module 1, you'll get the introduction video, you get the education vault, all the PDFs, you get the link for the Zoom, and you get the link for the Facebook page that you can join right away. So you get everything right now. And then next week you'll get module 2, following week you'll module 3. Hi, Kokita, how are you? All right. Does anybody else have last minute questions? Did you guys grab the link and everything you need? I'll just hang out here for a minute. I video record my son saying how he feels at school. How do I proceed? Because the teacher doesn't see behavior and he could run the class. What does your son say? What do you mean that he could run the class? I don't understand that. Oh, hold on. Hang on 1 second. I'll give you the exact link. All right, here's the group. I'm going to give you the page too. There's the group. Hold on. Here's the page. You want to be on both. And here's the course again. If you guys have stuck on here this long, y'all should be on the course. All right, get the course. You won't regret it. All right, it will help you with all of these questions. You'll have a laid out plan. You'll have me. And I don't do long question and answer like this, ever. So if you want that, if you're looking for that ongoing support, then you need to be on the course because I'm not giving it to anybody else. I don't have time for it, you know? So I have to have like some sort of life, right? So I guess what I'm saying is that I'm going to be focusing a lot on my course members. Why? Not because they bought the course, because people buy my 2 and 4 hour and those are more expensive. So what I'm saying is the course is something that I spent a lot of time on to really help parents who are where I was and who want to learn strategies and effective strategies and my unique system that I personally created based off of trial and error and complete screw ups. And then also after all that, I'm a COPA advocate and have been trained under Pete Wright and had multiple trainings with him physically in the flesh and moved on since then. But where I really learned was doing it for 6.5 years and failing and failing and failing. And I finally got it and figured it all out. And just got better and better as I did it. And then that's when I started advocating after I perfected it, I guess you could say. But yeah, you get the course forever. When I update it, you get the updates. That's it. I mean, there's on the course, it's a 6-week course. It's dripped out each week for 6 weeks. Then it's not dripped out anymore. It's available to you at all times forever. I guess nothing's forever, but you know what I mean. It's never taken away from you. You own it. All right. I can't get into your account. Nothing. I don't know your password, you know. And then the Zoom chats are long-term. I even joke and say, if I'm at the beach and I'm suntanning and that's where I'm at that moment, I'll still do the Zoom with you. So bi-weekly Zooms, face-to-face. And then every day on the group, you'll have homework, or every week there's laid out homework, and I'll be in the group daily. So, and you'll have homework as far as posting video of your child, posting, things that you want to fight for, because I have to see it to know it, to be able to help. And then, I'm going to have you record meetings. I'm going to have you schedule IEP meetings just so I can hear you practice. Yeah, that's what I said. Just so you can go practice and be tortured. I'm going to have you go in there and do that too. And you're going to get a reevaluation. You got to do the work. Don't get I'll be honest, don't get the course if you're not going to do the work. If you do the work, I promise you, when you're done, it's a rinse and repeat. Go do it, practice. That's it. You'll get better and better and better and better as you do it. And then when you screw up, you get to come back to the Zoom chats, and you get to come back to the course group, and you get to say, what the hell did I do wrong? And we all chime in, because guess what? You're going to master this, and then more people are going to come down the line with the course. And guess who's going to be the expert as well? You. That's how this course is going to grow, because people like you are going to go through the course, have success, because you will have success. I can guarantee that. If anything, I'm going to come to your IEP and make it happen. So you're going to have success. And then you're going to help me help others. We're going to pass it on, because parents don't need to be going through this. And that's what I mean about we're better together. Let's rock it together, because that's how it should be. It's not about me. It's about you and getting your child what's needed and appropriate. Okay? So you get my support ongoing. You actually get my phone number, which is probably a huge mistake, but I've already given tons of people my phone number, and I'm passionate about it. So, people know that if I'm, I have a family day, and they're not going to get 100% response on that day, which is Sunday. But at night on Sunday, if I'm watching a movie or whatever, then I'm always on anyway, But, people know that, I've set boundaries. But you know what? I get people message me all the time, and I get that desperate feeling of, because I've been there, so I get that desperate feeling of, oh my God, I have an IEP tomorrow. Like, what the hell am I going to do? Or, that feeling. And I remember, preparing for an IEP and like thinking I was so prepared. And then like the night before, or like right before you go, you get so nervous. Like, okay, did I miss something? And you start like scrambling and second guessing yourself. And, God, I remember it all. So just know that I've been there. There's probably not a feeling that someone has gone through that I haven't felt, because my situation has been going on for so many years that, I've been lied to over and over, and all I've asked for, just be honest. I'm nothing but honest with you when it comes to my child. Why can't you just be honest with me? I don't get it. Like, I don't get the lies. It baffles me. I just don't get it. To this day, I just don't get it. But I just know, in just today, like, I know that I don't care. I know what I got to do, but I still don't process why they still lie, why they lie so much. I mean, to the point where it's so obvious. And yet if you don't know when they're gaslighting you, then you're the one who suffers. You have to be able to quickly catch when they're gaslighting you. It's a technique that's super, super, super effective, that a lot of businesses do, a lot of salespeople do it, where they make you feel insufficient and a nobody, and make you second guess everything that you're thinking and feeling. And they almost change your mind. Or have you ever felt in an IEP meeting where they said something where you just stopped talking? Like, you didn't know what else to say, or you kind of just froze? That's gaslighting. I have people messaging me. All right. Are you guys good? It sounds like you're good. All right. So I'm going to hop off here. Do you guys need anything else? Hey, Aaron, you're still on here? Everybody's all quiet. All right. All right. So you guys got the link to the chat. You have a good night too. I'll actually just turn, hold on, let me